told you we do that custom work. This thing's badass.
Sweet, huh?
Really nice. Came out great. Need that new truck of yours, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, man, it's kind of weird when you get in here because it's like
Little closed
accountants
box. And,
and like all other kind of stuff in here. And
last time I was in a room like this, it was for bad things. It was a detective on the other side.
Really? It is. It's like an interrogation room. In
Yeah.
here. So we come in here, we have our friends stop by, we just hang out, we try to talk about living a life that's connected by water. So we certainly do. So we're joined today. We're rolling?
We're rolling.
We're good. So we're joined today. Thank you for coming by.
Appreciate
Mike
you having
Lipski
us.
from Real Deal Bait and Tackle, owner and entrepreneur.
Try to be.
Yeah, right? So I can relate.
Yeah.
It's like we're both self-made men here. And opening our own businesses and following our own paths. So
Yeah, exactly.
kind of want to get a little bit into that today. But first, I want to say welcome to Connected by Water, presented by Joey Carty, Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram.
I just bought a Ram from him.
Yes, you did.
I did.
Right? So you are a friend of the dealership, as are we. So, so I want to give a shout out to Joey Carty and all the fine people down there, all the fine people in sales and service. Listen, go there, buy a truck. Go there, buy a Jeep.
My experience was
Right?
awesome with them. Quick, easy, no back and forth.
They got it dialed in.
It was really nice.
Yeah. And they got a great selection of vehicles right now. They have some great deals going on. John will probably throw some stuff up there with what their current deals are. And, go see my man, Dean.
Yep.
Tell him I sent you. He'll hook you up and give you the best price possible.
Yeah, it
That's
was.
for sure.
They were the only one that had the truck I wanted in,
Yeah.
and I was in and out in like 2 hours.
Yeah, that's the thing. They're quick.
It was great.
Yeah, definitely.
I hate car shopping, but they made it easy.
That's the thing. It's like, and I could never be one myself. Like, I really don't like car salesmen. If you're a car salesman out there and you're listening to this, I apologize. You know what I mean? But like, really, like that whole process, I just dread. And it's just, they make it really easy.
It's never gotten better either. It's always the same.
Yeah.
They know you're in need. Like, they know you need a new car.
Mm-hmm.
It's just who you're going to choose. So, and nowadays, I think with the internet, people are more honed in on exactly what they want before they even walk through the door.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they know.
Yeah, and they can tell that.
Yeah.
They're vultures.
It's, and then you're their buddy, and the deal's just for you, and I don't do this
Everybody's
for
a
anybody
buddy.
else.
Yep.
And but I guess they're just trying to make a living, so I can't really knock them too hard.
You can tell which one's hustle, which ones do it the right way.
But Joey's got his crew dialed in, man. That's for sure.
100%.
They do it right. They do it respectful. So,
Yep.
I also want to promote a couple things before we get started. Obviously, go to connectedbywater.com. We got a lot of cool stuff going on. You find out about all the custom apparel that we do for you, but also check out our straw hats. That's one of the things that we got that's new that everybody loves, and we've been selling them like hotcakes. So
We need to sell those a real deal.
yeah, we're running low. We're getting a new batch in soon.
Man.
Yeah, again, the supply chain things we were talking about earlier, but
Yeah.
we got a few. If you want to grab a few with you, throw them in the store.
Yeah,
When
for
we go
sure.
back.
100%.
And then the other thing I wanted to promote today was the fine men and women, our very good friends of the studio from Fishing for Muscular Dystrophy, the FFMD. Again, John's going to throw some stuff up on the screen so I don't get it wrong. But we are raffling off a bay boat from Everglades, a Ford Tremor, and a golf cart. So
I think more importantly, what some people forget about with those raffles is they get in, they want to win a boat, but you're donating to the cause.
Donating
That's your
to the
first.
cause.
That's the first part. And then if you win a boat and everything else, it's great. But that's why I get it. I've gotten in every one of theirs for the last, I don't even know how many years.
I mean, who cares if you win the boat?
It's not about that.
It's really not about that. And your generous donations are
There's
tax deductible. And
5,000 or whatever tickets sold. You have a 1 in 5,000 chance. Don't get in it if you're just trying to win.
yeah,
Get in it for the cause.
yeah, exactly. I couldn't have said it better myself. So please support Fishing for Muscular Dystrophy. They're huge friends of the studio, and also other friends of the studio. FFO obviously is another organization we support. Everything that they do for the veterans, and also that segues us into lastmangoboatworks.com.
Awesome.
Go buy from Last Mango Boatworks. We've got some custom art we did for them up on the site. But again, 100% of the profits of that site goes to charity, some Singing for Change, and the Freedom Fighter Outdoors. So All right, we've set our piece there.
Yeah, I fished that tournament, the last one, the offshore one. Then I donated some bait for their Everglades one. I couldn't make that one right after, so it's just a 5-star event.
Yeah, you go to those events and you really, I mean, it really makes a difference in these guys' lives. I mean, it's so meaningful when you actually go there and meet everyone.
Like they were hugging me, like, thank you for this. They actually, one of them turned into a customer afterwards. He bought a big 50 wide from me.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was great. But you could see it in these guys' eyes. This is just to be back and doing something like this. There's nothing like it.
Yeah, it's really cool, man. You get to know them, and that's the best part. You know, and when you get involved with an organization like that, with Freedom Fighter Outdoors specifically, and they're just good guys.
For me, it's all the vets. You know, my dad was in the Army, and then those guys, you could just like truly see it, just how grateful they are for being able. You know, not everybody gets to go out on a 39 CV or a 42 Freeman or a Big Merit, and this gives them the opportunity to do it. And it's pretty amazing.
And even the bass event too.
Bass event's really cool.
Yeah, not everyone gets to go like full on like on a tricked out bass boat out in the Everglades.
Fishing the Everglades.
Yeah, you know, that's a premier thing too. So, and a shout out to Jose Carbonell who runs that freshwater program.
It's awesome.
So tell me a little bit about, all right, I know we want to talk about all the cool stuff at Real Deal Tackle. We're going to fit all that in today. But one of the things that I was curious about, because your story almost reminds me a little bit of my story, just basically saying life as I know it goes away, and then you start your own business, and which is not the easiest thing in the world to do.
No.
And take me through a little bit of that process.
Yeah. You know, I spent age 18, I entered the corporate world, selling consumer electronics into big box retail stores, Amazon, Walmart, Best Buy, you know, all your big monster chains. I worked for Sony PlayStation. I worked for Dell. I worked for HP. I lived the corporate life for almost 20 years. Became a single dad in 2012. I've flown over 1.5 million miles on American Airlines.
Wow.
Million Mile Marker Club. Mile High Club too. Not just checking. You know, so I was gone a lot. I was on the road 200 days a year. And then when I mixed in being a single dad with that, having 50% custody of my son, I was missing even more days working and traveling. And I got sick of it and obviously loved fishing and thought of a business that I can get into that would allow me to stay local and not have to travel. And a buddy of mine opened up a bait shop down in Hialeah and went down and saw him, and he's a live bait store, particularly at this time. And I'd go in, and every time I went in, he's smiling, he's happy, he's dressed in shorts and flip-flops, and I'm like, man, dude, you're living the life. He's like, but I am broke as hell. I'm like, it doesn't matter, man, you're happy, you know? Yeah. The money will come later, you know? And it was seeing that said, man, I want to try this. And I still had a job at the time. I was working for a big $7 billion distribution company out of Pennsylvania. I was the Southeast regional rep, so I worked from home. It's like I could open a store and just kind of like move my office into the corner of the store and do both because you're not going to be busy in the beginning. Nobody is.
Right.
So I did that, and 3 months later, I put my resignation in. I didn't think it'd be that quick. But from the day we turned the key, it's just been a rocket ship for us, which we've gotten very lucky. We've worked very hard. But that allowed me to break myself from the corporate world. And I haven't looked back since, luckily.
You know, I often tell people who are kind of hesitant to take that leap that it's like, yeah, you got to have your ducks in a row. But, you know, you're going to step off a cliff and you're going to feel like you're falling. You're going to feel like you're falling. There's no way around it. You know, it's kind of like, you know, like just before you jump in a pool and you know the water's going to be cold and you're going to jump in the pool, right? But for some reason, you take like an extra 30 seconds before you do. Yep. Like that's going to help at all, right?
But then what happens after you do it?
Right, then you get over it in a little bit, right? It's cold at first, and then your body kind of warms up to it, and you get used to your new life in the water.
Yeah,
right?
It's definitely a sacrifice. You know, that's the part I think people aren't ready for. A lot of people. Most people think initially, it's the money. I don't have the money to do it. And, you know, I don't tell everybody my financial side of my business. But I opened my business with $25,000. I had $25,000. That wasn't an inventory. That was for everything. To sign a lease, to build out cases, logos, everything, business licenses. And then there was a little tiny bit of money left for product. And so there was about $15,000 in inventory in my store. which is go on any of these tournament guys' boats, that's their tackle bag.
Right.
So there was nothing in there. And then I just built. But the sacrifice I had to make to do that was you need to give up a lot of the fun in your life.
Oh,
initially.
all of it.
All of it. Yeah. I was trying to be nice, but it's everything. You know, it's work, sleep, be a dad. And that's the part. The money, you could start a business with a couple $100. You've through your whole life heard the story of a guy, I started this out of my trunk. And you're like, yeah, right, he's lying. He's driving a Maserati. He started out of his trunk. And people don't think that's real. And anybody can do it, in my opinion. It's just, that's the other part. They're not willing to give up the iPhones and their nice car.
That's exactly it.
You know, their Friday night at the Cove or whatever it is that you're spending all your extra money on, it's all got to go away for a time period. And what that time period is obviously going to be defined on how your business goes. But your typical rule of thumb is 3 to 5 years, no matter how profitable or good you are. You got to give it up for a while.
Yeah.
You know, and I was at the right age to do it, I feel like. I don't know what age you kind of broke away at. But for me, I was 37. Life's kind of getting boring at that point. It's not like I'm a party animal.
Yeah, I think I was about the same age, maybe 39, something like that.
Yeah, so you start getting laser focused on, you know, what do I want in life? How can I do it? And all those other things. I've always been the guy that likes fancy things, likes to be flashed. I had a good job, like to drive a nice car. But as you get older, you start, none of that crap matters. It's nice, but it doesn't do anything for you. You know, it makes you feel good sometimes personally, but the next guy.
It fades too.
That's it. Yeah. All 100%. I mean, I wear a $10 Real Deal shirt 7 days a week now, you know, so. So that's the part I think most people, they're not ready for.
That's it. I mean, it's the hard work and the sacrifice, and everyone thinks they're a hard worker. And this is like my father said that, and he goes, "Oh, you're opening your own business?" I go, "Yeah," because he owned his own business too at one point. And he goes, "I know you think you're a real hard worker." He goes, "You don't know what hard work is yet." He's like, "You will," and he's so right. Yep. He was so right.
How many nights are you here? Skip dinner
all the time.
I mean, I
still
up until recently, I have a little back room, my stock room, and initially it was Adam's playroom. There's a PlayStation in there, a couch. I figured he'd sit in there, but he never goes in there ever, even from the beginning.
Right.
So recently we had to get rid of the couches because we're out of space and we needed more stock room. But I used to sleep in there like 3 nights a week because I'd be working till 1:30 in the morning, hours after we've closed, and then I look at the clock and I go, I got a 30-minute drive home, and I got to be back here at 5:30. I'm just gonna crash for a few hours, you know. So. You know, you got to put you can't go.
It's all half-ass. It's all or nothing.
100%.
You're really, like, even now, I mean, you know, I should be down in the Keys with my business partner at his house for mini season. I got way too much to do this week. I can't just go taking like days off in the middle of the week like that.
No.
You know what I mean? There's too many customers to address and too many projects to do. And you know what I mean? I got to plan ahead on that.
Yeah. So I don't know about you. For me, it's all about the gas pedal. Right, so it's like a car. You start pressing it, you're going. You got to press it more to keep going. If you let off, you're going to stop.
Right.
So, like, I don't know how to stop. I just keep pressing. So, and the biggest problem I'm running into now is, you know, my brain just never stops working. So I'm up every night till 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, just thinking about work. I don't know how to shut it off.
Writing notes in your phone and everything. And I have like lists and lists and lists on my phone about it's like T-shirt ideas or
things, something that pops in your head. You got to put it somewhere.
Yeah, new division ideas and it's just like filled with my phone. And you know, it's like I think just writing it down makes me feel better. You know, because if I don't write it down, then it'll just drive you crazy.
Yeah, for sure.
Then once you write it down, it almost feels like, all right, I've compartmentalized it somehow.
Yeah. What's nice about this, though, even just in the couple minutes of us talking, I think what it'll show people is no matter what the business, it's all the same road you have to go down.
Yeah.
So it's the same amount of work. It's the same process. It's the same things. It's just different business. And I used to tell people that all the time when I worked for PlayStation. People are like, oh, my gosh, you work for PlayStation. And I'm like, so? Like, well, that's so cool. I'm like, dude, I don't play video games all day. Like, exactly. I go to Best Buy and try to sell them PlayStations, you know? Yep. And like, well, isn't that cool? I'm like, I can go sell them toilet paper. The process is identical.
Mm-hmm. That's it.
So I'm just selling something a little cooler than toilet paper. I wish I was in the toilet paper business now.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Jeez. I worked in the music business. I mean, it was a cool industry, but still, your day to day.
You have your perks, your events,
you have your
and
perks,
whatnot.
But your day to day was just, you know, I got a team of designers. You know, we're putting out weekly and monthly magazines. We're designing CD covers and all that stuff like that. And people would say that, oh, you could design CD covers. I'm like, yeah, but you know, it's work. You know, when you've done it, it fades. You know, like when you've done it for a while, it just becomes another thing.
I tell people it's the pizza man mentality, right? So you make pizzas for a living.
Yeah.
You get off of work, one thing you don't want to eat is a pizza.
That's a
you
thing.
know, and that's the problem with it. So it's work.
That's the tough part about making your business your passion.
That's the hardest part.
That's the hardest part, is that sometimes you can get a little jaded about a lot of it. Like, I mean, I love painting fish and love drawing fish and I love, you know, designing apparel and everything like that. But yeah, there's days where I'm just like, I want to go fishing.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, instead of just like painting them, that's why I keep bugging John. I'm like, I see him posting like pictures of snook up on social media. I'm like, the hell are you doing? Not asking me to go with you. But anyway, it's like, you know, you can grow tired of it. It's like,
Yeah.
I love when the people say that. It's like, you know, oh, do what you love and you'll never work a day in your life. That's a bunch of bullshit. You know what I mean? Because I don't know, man. But you know,
still work.
I'm still not sick of painting fish. Thank God.
And I'm still not sick of fishing. I just wish, like you, I could do it more.
Yeah.
Just too tired.
Yeah, that's
I
another
pick and
thing,
choose
too.
now. I do a lot of freshwater fishing with Adam just because we live west. I live right, I'm
Yep.
2 minutes from here. And then I fish my tournaments, you know, and really I don't get much more. You know, come fall, I'll go to the Bahamas a lot for wahoo. But
Yeah.
I miss most of the cool fishing because when it's really good fishing, it's when I'm the busiest.
Right.
So, I mean, I can't take away from that. And one of the downfalls I built, I have great guys in the shop. I mean, my team, tackle business is the hardest thing to staff because you need somebody that's really good at fishing or knows about fishing. You need somebody that's presentable and knowledgeable and nice, and they're still got to be salesmen. But then you get the downside because they're fishermen. They want to be fishing when the fishing's good too. And then you're putting a kid in a candy store and, you know, you got to make sure that everything's not walking out the back door.
Candy stays in the store.
Yeah, so that's the hard part. But we've been really blessed like that. But I built a business that's based on me, unfortunately. You know, what I learned about the tackle business is, you know, guy just buys a 36 yellowfin. He doesn't want to go talk to my employee about an outfit.
Right.
He wants to come. I want to talk to the owner, you know. And
I get that.
So
too.
yeah, same thing. They don't want to talk to your one of your team members. They want that feeling of getting that treatment, especially when you're a small business. You know, it's like Joey, even with the card. You know, how many guys reach out to him? Hey man, I need a card. Can you help me?
Yep.
Yeah, I can. But then he's gonna put the right guy in to help. You know, that's where
that's what he's got to do. You know what I mean? And you know, as a business owner, you know, I get that when he does it with me. You know what I mean? I'm like, hey Joey, I'll give him a heads up, like, hey, I'm heading over to the dealership today. I got to do service or whatever like that. And he's like, oh, cool. Thank you for letting me know. And he'll make a phone call. Be like, hey, Dennis is coming today. And that's all he's got to do. You know what I mean? And that's cool. You know what I mean? But I don't expect Joey to meet me there at service. Be like, hey, what's up? I'm friends with him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Hey, Joey, do this oil change.
Yeah, he's busy. He's busy. You know what I mean? Whatever. You got things to do.
Yep.
You know, but it's cool. I mean, I don't know, man. But I want to go through some of the things about the store and what sets you apart from the others, because I noticed in your operation, you're kind of really doing it right. I mean, it's not really like a canned store. Like you don't have any notion of a Walmart effect in there whatsoever. It's all like real core stuff.
Yeah, we you know, early on, obviously I was strapped financially to not be able to do everything I wanted to do. And then as the business grew and I kept reinvesting, every dollar I made went back into the shop. Never, ever have I taken a dollar, still to this day. And but my vision from day one was always the same, and that hasn't changed. There's 3 different types of tackle shops out there. You got a bait shop, sell live bait, they sell stinky frozen bait, and they sell a lot of it, and they do great. And it's normally a hardcore fisherman that owns it that said, hey, I'm going to open up a bait shop. And how they even run a business is besides me, because they didn't have a business sense before. And those guys I tip my hat to, because now they have a business and they run it and they've had it for a long time. Then you have a tackle shop that sells a little bit of bait, a little bit of tackle, and is very vanilla. You know, they're like a wall. They just put stuff in there, come in, buy it, walk out.
Right.
And then you have your shops that actually make stuff, customize things, try to be unique and different and create things. And I said from day one, we want to be that, but to the extreme. You know, we're not there yet. I'm 2 years and 2 months old. So those same constraints I had in the beginning, I still have in a different way, but we still have those. But we're definitely from day one had that vision, and we're still going down that road to be, you know, I don't buy a single lure, wahoo lure, for example, rigged. Where you go in some of these stores, they got, you know, wahoo lures, and they're all rigged exactly the same because they're buying them that way because they don't know how to do it, you know. And no offense to them, they don't have to, you know. Not everybody has to be that guy. I don't buy a single one rigged because we want to do it our way, in-house, what we feel is the right way, which to the next guy might be the wrong way in certain things. But what I try to tell all my customers is there's very few wrong ways in fishing. There's obviously your basics you can't do wrong. You got to tie a good knot.
There's more than one way to skin a cat, that's for sure. Yeah.
And we try to simplify it.
Yeah.
You know, YouTube and big stores with pro fishermen scare away new time fishermen. So they watch everything on YouTube and they go, oh my gosh, how am I going to do all this? This guy's got 8 rods going off the back of a 23-foot boat. And I'm like, you're not doing it. Like, chill. Start off with 2 or 3. Let's make it simple. Let's run easy things. Let's get you catching fish. And then as you get more comfortable, build your way up. Where they walk into certain stores and like, you need those 8 rods right now. You know, and then they get a sour taste. And I'm all about growing different sectors of the business and creating new fishermen. Yeah. Or new fishermen that are already fishermen into new avenues of fishing.
When you have a shop like yours, it's a lot of that is based off relationships.
100%. Everything.
The other vanilla stores aren't necessarily. You know,
you're buying from a distributor.
You're gonna get tourists coming in. You're gonna get the just casual weekenders and coming in and just buying stuff, grabbing it off the shelf. And hey, my buddy and I, we haven't been fishing in a couple of years. Let's go down to the pier. We're gonna grab a couple things from that store.
Yeah, bag of shrimp, a little cheap rod, which is fine. I need those guys to help pay my bills too.
Yeah, absolutely. But I love seeing like when you post up things like, "Hey, I need your dolphin bellies. Don't throw them away. I'll come get them."
Yeah, literally. We'll do anything we can to make sure we have the best, the freshest bait at all times. Whatever it is, it's the weird part. I'm going to say is the right word of this business. South Florida is an interesting fishery, particularly Broward County is a really interesting fishery. And what a lot of people don't get, especially people that move in from out of town or guys that lived even, you get a guy that lived down by Black Point and he moves up to Broward and he goes, oh yeah, I've been fishing here my whole life. I'm like, yeah, I've never fished here once. He's like, what do you mean? I'm like, the way you fish there and the way we fish here, 2 totally different fisheries. Yeah. Like, for example, you go up to Jupiter, you'll see dredges everywhere. Everybody's pulling dredges. When's the last time you've seen a dredge out of Hillsborough Inlet?
Yeah,
none.
Not at all. Yeah.
We're pulling planers.
It's all planers.
Planers and kites. Then you get down to Oliver, and you got your snapper fishermen, and you got your king fishermen, and you got your high-speed wahoo fishermen. When you ever see boats high-speeding out front here? Very, couple guys.
KDWs and stuff like that, you'll get them. Yeah.
Couple guys, but, mainly we're a slow troll fishery, we're a kite fishery, and so it's honing in on what you do per area, not I want to be the guy to everything, because you can't do that in fishing.
Right.
People forget, just in the United States alone, 83% of the fishing market is freshwater.
Right, no doubt about it.
We live in a bubble. Yep. So, like, here, up the North Carolina coast, a little bit in the Northeast, Texas, California, that's your saltwater. Everything else, it's all fresh.
Yep.
So, to these companies, they don't even focus on a lot of saltwater stuff.
No, they don't.
If I told you, hey, 10% of your business is hats and 90% is shirts, are you going to spend 80% of your time on hats? So that's what we forget about sometimes.
Right, for sure. I mean, the freshwater market is just absolutely huge. I mean, case in point, you see freshwater tournaments on ESPN all the time. You don't ever see saltwater tournaments.
Yeah, the Bassmaster Classic. I mean, these guys have Mercury reps there at the tournament. I mean, everything you can imagine. That's the market. Yeah. That's where it's at. We don't have it here, but that's the big scheme of things as a company. Sure. That's what
even Mercury's. I mean, there's lakes all over the country. There's app boards all over the world.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, but there's little app boards all over the country. You got 90 horses all throughout the entire
90. Those bass boats got 250s and 300. I'm like,
but even still, crap. You just got like on little John boats and stuff like that all over the country. You know what I mean? So we're a very targeted market to that point for sure.
And the consumers forget about that sometimes.
Yeah,
that's the thing. Like, I just don't understand why X player, and I don't like to say names, hasn't created the new reel yet. I'm like, they're focusing on $700 bass rods right now.
Yeah. Yep.
More profit margin.
Yeah, no doubt about it. So you're a West End boy like me.
Yep.
You're from up north though, right?
Nah, so I'm originally from New York, but moved here as a kid.
Yeah,
my dad passed when I was 5, and my grandparents lived down here, so my mom decided to move. My mom's a single mom of 4. So
yeah, nice. So you're a Coral Springs boy like me.
Grew up in Coral Springs, Taravella, Douglas.
Yeah,
so,
right on.
Grew up right here, Royal Palm University.
Oh, very cool.
Still live on University.
Nice. Yeah, I went to high school at Gibbons, and like obviously I come from the other side of the tracks. So I show up there my first day as a freshman. I'm like, Porsche rolling up, Jaguar rolling in. I'm like, what the hell school did my parents send me to? And I'm like, I only chose Gibbons over St. Thomas because it was closer to the beach. I figured I might be able to fit in some surfing and fishing every now and then. But yeah, man, so it was a little bit of You had to make that drive every day, but
Yeah, it's being a fisherman, I fished a little bit my whole life, but I really got into fishing heavily when I became a single dad. It was like my outlet, and living out west, you're like, oh yeah, fishing, it's cool, and then opening a store out east, I'm like, holy, it's everybody. Like it's a lifestyle in the east.
Yep.
And you don't realize that if you live out west until you get in that crowd.
Yeah, it's very different out here.
It's crazy.
Sure. I was lucky enough to spend my summers in Marathon every year growing up as a kid, which really exposed me to offshore fishing and diving and snorkeling and just the whole Keys life, right? But without that, it probably would have been a lot tougher to make that east transition, you know what I mean, to offshore fishing up here, because I grew up really like day-to-day bass fishing.
Yeah,
mostly.
Same. Yep.
Like you see all the honey holes around here. It's like I got people out east asking me all the time, like, where do you go fishing?
Yeah, just like even the city we're in right now, Coral Springs, you can't even have a boat at your house.
Yeah, that sucks.
Like, even if it's behind a fence, hidden, they'll find you and they'll find you.
Yeah, they will.
So
they're very strict about that kind of. That's the downfall of Coral Springs, to me. But it's kind of like a give and take, because
safe
that's
community.
maybe that's like it's a safe community. It's very clean here. It's but sometimes that's a good thing. Sometimes it's a bad thing. But the boat thing was always the one thing that I was just like, really. But I don't know, man. See, I don't own a boat because I not deal with, but a lot of customers that just all my customers are fishermen.
Yep.
So I don't ever really need a boat. You know what I mean? If you see, I got a set of custom rods over here that don't even have any reels on them. Just because like I traded out I'm like, I want to have a custom set of rods. So I traded out with Drew Thompson for some logo designs and stuff like that. And he made me like a set of custom rods.
That's awesome.
I'm like, oh, cool. But I don't even have, because every time I go fishing with someone, I'm going fishing on like a 42 Freeman and they got everything. I don't need to bring anything. What am I going to bring?
And some people look at that. They ask me the same question. I don't own a boat right now, mainly just because I work 80 hours a week. But I said, if I need to go fishing, I mean, I got endless boats to go fishing. And some people are like, oh, that's a bad way to look at it. I'm like, why? Like, sorry, not sorry.
Yeah, that's a perk to the business. You own your own business. Before you had perks in your other industry that you worked in. If you own your own business, you got to have some perks in your own business, right?
Yeah, of course, definitely.
So, but if you look at my bass rods, that's all me. You know what I mean? It's like very nice bass rods.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So it's like, that's what I'm going to invest in because that's
same
what I use most of the time.
My 8-year-old's got a $500 combo.
Yeah.
That he's broken twice.
You carrying a lot of bass equipment there?
So we don't. Being so far east, I would say like...
you don't really carry a lot of light tackle, huh?
So not very much light tackle. I have, probably a 4-foot section of bass tackle, but we sell shiners too. And the only reason, so I used to, when I opened, I was actually a live bait store, like that first guy I talked about. And I sold shrimp and crabs and pilchards and gogs and shiners. And then when I started growing and really started expanding into more tackle, you don't want all that salt water around all that really expensive stuff. And but I didn't get rid of the shiners because Adam uses them too much.
Oh, he takes them all?
Yeah, so I mean that's the
I saw him catching all those peacocks.
Yeah, I mean it's so whenever we want to go, they're there, and they sell. I don't get rich on them, but and they're very low maintenance and no smell and all that good stuff.
Sometimes you just got to carry a product just to have it, just to be convenient for your customers.
Yep.
It's like we're not making a killing on stickers. You know what I mean? But when we do like a whole apparel outfit for someone, like we'll do their hats and their apparel and whatever like that, and they go, oh yeah, can you do me some stickers? Yeah, of course we can. We don't make a ton of money on them, but you want to do that for your customers.
That's it.
It's the same thing with the shiners.
When it's blowing 30 and nobody's going out, we sell a ton of shiners. So
do you?
Yeah, because
that's all you're gonna
wind
do.
doesn't affect that. So even when it's raining, so it's nice for that. And what I like most about the shiners is the clientele is mainly kids. And all the kids know they're always welcome in my store. So
that's cool.
The parents come in and the kid will start talking to Adam, and I'll be like, you can come back at 4, we'll watch him for you. That's what it's kind of become. So we want it to be very family friendly. It's a very clean, safe family environment that we run at all times.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Tell me about this stuff you were talking about before with Japan.
Yeah, so
because we were talking about how supply lines are all kind of weird right now for business owners, and we're experiencing some of that too. And we hinted, though, maybe people don't understand how much actually comes from China, which I don't like.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We're trying to do our best not to really push any Chinese product out of our studio whatsoever.
Yeah. So I'm the same way.
It's very tough, though.
Yeah, you can't. I did a podcast with Captain Jeff, on one of his podcasts.
Oh, okay. Did you guys go through that?
We did. We talked about that too. And you know, you come in my store and the first thing I'm going to do is pitch you a U.S. reel. LP, Avid, Accurate, Penn, all their nice reels are now made in the U.S. I'm pumping those first. I mean, I'm supporting my country. But then there's just things that we just don't make or we don't make well. So then you have to go elsewhere. Spinning reels. There's like 3 manufacturers that make spinning reels in the U.S. and they're either $700 or $800 or they suck.
Right.
So Daiwa owns the spinning reel space or Shimano, you know, and you got to go to their products when that happens.
I like the new Penn spinners though.
They are nice, but those are made overseas.
They are. Well, I'm saying, yeah.
So Penn about 15 years ago moved all their production to China and learned very quickly, not through the first 5 years, but as that time went on, that it was a huge mistake for them because the internationals were known as the American reel. I mean, before 15 years ago, there was no Tiagras and Accurates and Avids and all this other stuff. You fished an international or a senator. And so they lost that. And then they realized a few years ago that was probably the single biggest mistake they ever made. And they reopened a factory in Philadelphia, and now every international, Torque, any of their high-end reels are made right here. And I not only support that, I support the decision to take that plunge and bring it back. Because they did it before the Trump push and everything. That was a decision they made on their own. And to me, I pushed a lot of their reels.
I don't know. I really think that more American manufacturing has to come back. I mean, it really does. I mean, I think we also made a big mistake to an intellectual property from that standpoint of you're giving all your plans on all your products to China. So they're going to go, oh, that's a cool product. Let's make that cheaper.
So I worked with the Orient for 20 years. And, people say, oh, Chinese products are terrible. Chinese design products are terrible.
Right.
Chinese built products are really good. It's because what we do, as long as you go to them and say, this is what I want you to build and this is how I want you to build it, it'll be perfect. They're really good, But if you say, you have an idea in your head and I'm like, hey, I want you to build this thing and it's going to look like this. And they go, oh, okay. And then they go build it. Like, yeah, good luck. You got a few years before that thing's going to be right. So not only that, any product that's out there, there's a copy of it because that's what they do.
Right, it's what they do. They intellectual property theft. What are they going to say? Okay, sue me or come get me. Can't.
When you can go sue a communist country.
Right. What are they? They're going to laugh at you.
That's it.
So I think that's a big issue with I think Trump's trying to, or at least tried to fix that with the fair trade thing, and kind of Corona got involved.
I told Jeff too, it took us 30 years. It's longer, but it took us really 30 years to get to the point where China's manufacturing 80% of the products in our country. And it'll take us at least 30 years to build back out of that.
Yeah.
It's not something that can just happen overnight. That's the part that I think people don't understand is you just can't do it quickly.
And to me,
you can do it, but it's got to be a long-term plan. And with the fight between the left and the right, you're never going to get
nothing's
anywhere.
ever going to get that one. That's a big issue.
The left's crazy right now.
Yeah.
We'll go that in another conversation.
That's all right. We can go down that road if you want, but I don't know. I'm trying to like, it's almost like I'm trying to like
woosah it.
Yeah, I'm trying to like, all right, we're not going to talk about it on the show.
Do you ever like watch Fox News and then like click to CNN and then like click back and then like you're like, holy crap, what the hell is going on here?
Well, they're completely
it's
points
unreal
on the same topic every single time, no matter what it is. It's like Yankees Red Sox, man. You're never going to convince one over the other. It's in their blood at this point.
Speaking about Yankees Red Sox, so I'm a diehard Yankee fan, but now like a bunch of the Red Sox shop at my store. And it's like so painful.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because they're all my boys now.
Oh, well,
but it's like like JD Martinez, he's one of the best players in baseball.
Right, right.
And he does a lot of shopping at my store, and like I'll text him. I'm like, hey man, I never thought I'd say this, but like I'll wear your jersey.
I have to give a shout out for Jenny, because she found out you were a Bills fan today. So she listens to every podcast, right? So I have to say it, right? I have to say this. John and I are like hardcore Dolphin fans, and we're like, it pains us to even bring up the Bills on the podcast.
Yeah, we could all
there
cry.
You go, Jenny. You're welcome.
We could all cry together. So.
Right. Yeah, exactly. We could all cry together. So anyway, I'm trying not to like even talk about like coronavirus on the show, because it's so... I want this to be a safe space from all that crap. You know what I mean?
It's true.
So the only politics I want to bring in is if it affects clean water, and our newest topic, which is sharks.
Yep.
Right. So we've really started ramping up the shark conversation here.
So I got a pretty good history Sharks. That's actually, so when I really started fishing hard, I did a lot of land-based shark fishing. Fished all the big land-based shark tournaments, and still to this day, land-based shark fishing makes up a very big portion of my business. So I own a website that's one of the largest land-based shark fishing websites. We sell a lot of shark reels.
You do now?
Now.
Really? Just
Tons.
dedicated for sharks?
Dedicated for sharks. Like tons.
You're a shark killer.
Yeah, we sell, I ship, I'd say on average, 300 big reels to Texas.
What's the site?
Each year. It's a site that I'm partnered with. It's called sharkfishingworldwide.com.
Sharkfishingworldwide.com. .co.
Yeah.
Gotcha. What's the difference between the co and the com?
I think it wasn't available.
Yeah, okay.
I don't know.
Gotcha.
So.
It's just another thing. Yeah, it's not like another country code or anything like
Yeah,
that. Right?
no.
Right.
Yeah.
So
that site's dedicated strictly to land-based shark fishing.
That's awesome.
Yep.
So we're kind of like, see, I struggle with this. Not really that hard, but a little bit, right, in my head. Like, so I'm a marine life artist, fish artist, right? So I should respect the whole beauty and the aspect of all the life in the ocean and all that other stuff like that. But I'm also a fisherman, and I'm also a realistic person. Right? I'm not a hardcore environmentalist. I am a conservationist. So I believe in balance, right? And what's happening right now with the sharks is just kind of out of control.
I agree. The only thing that, somebody hate me for this. The only thing I don't agree with.
You speak your mind.
Yeah, is
that's why
so everybody on social media cries
out
about the shark problem,
right?
But none of them do anything. So, and the reason why I say that is, like, being an ex land-based shark fisherman, you can legally kill most of these sharks they're complaining about.
Mm-hmm.
They don't do it. So why not harvest them? Go mark the sharks. A perfect example. He kills these sharks every single day, and he takes all that food to Camilla's house, and they feed the homeless with it.
I want to bring Mark the Shark on the show, by the way.
Yeah,
it's funny.
his brother shops at my store, so I could probably. You probably do it yourself.
Yeah.
But, so he donates all that meat to homeless people. I mean, shark tastes great. You guys ever had blacktip? It's awesome. You buy it in Publix. It's you got it. So what most people don't know about
people
blacktip.
see the fins getting popped off and the
Fins
torsos.
different. We got plenty of laws in Florida that protects
but
that.
people see that on TV and they think that's what the deal is around here.
Yeah, no, it's So I think people don't know how to handle sharks. People don't know the proper way to harvest sharks, and if more was put into that, I think we could help eliminate some of the problem. But I get sick of the crying if you're going to do nothing about it. Like I said, there's plenty. So we in the state of Florida, we have tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3 sharks. They break them up into 3 different tiers.
Right.
Your tier 1 sharks have no limits, no size limits. Kill as many as you want, take as many as you want. And I'm not a fan of killing to kill. I don't want to see you shoot a shark and let it just fall to the bottom of the ocean.
Right.
Take it, donate the meat, eat it yourself. It's phenomenal.
I'm full agreement on that.
Yeah. And then your tier 2 sharks are all sized. So, for example, a bull shark has to be 54 inches to the fork. You can kill as many as you want. 1 per day per boat. So, and then your tier 3 are your state and federally protected sharks, hammerheads, tiger sharks. But you don't hear people complaining about hammers.
There's not a ton of those around anyway.
There's a lot.
Well, not like the bull sharks, and not like the...
No, but there's more. But they're not our problem.
They're
reef sharks.
No, I've
more
seen,
so than
that's,
anything.
with the sharking thing is
it's bull sharks, spinner sharks. Bull sharks the main problem.
Right.
Yeah, they're vicious.
So next episode, you should come on the next episode too. Because I'm going to have Patrick Price, who started the Let's Tack the Taxman page, and then Art Zapp is going to come join us too. So we got another mic if you want to come on again. Yeah. And because I think you'd be good to have on that table.
Yeah, we do.
So I think we're going to try to do something about it.
Yeah, it's so it's a decision that somebody has. There are obviously a lot of people that don't want to see sharks die, and we need them in the ecosystem and the apex predator and yada 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 yada. And I'm just a firm believer in. While I may not agree with everything either the feds or the state puts out as regs, I will never get mad at anybody for harvesting illegal fish. Like, I see these people, how could you kill that? Like, you got a problem, don't go to the fisherman, go to your state representative or somebody else. Like, stop bashing somebody for following the law. Right. That's our problem today is people get mad at somebody when they're following the law. I'm like, wait a second, get mad at them if they're breaking the law, Yeah. When I'm down in the Keys and I see somebody taking, 14-inch muttons after 14-inch muttons, that pisses me off. But if I see somebody kill a blacktip shark, it doesn't make me mad.
A lot of it has to come down to education too. So you speak about the muttons, and when they raised it from 16 to 18 inches, and the Art was on the show, and he explained the reason. When he goes, because he doesn't like overregulation, right? But once he found out why the difference between the 16 and 18 inches was basically for
reproduction.
That's about that. Those 2 inches mattered for reproduction.
Yeah.
And once he found that out, he's like, oh yeah, well that makes perfect sense. It had nothing to do with we're going to make it a longer size to make it harder for you to harvest fish. It just had to do with there was a scientific reason for it.
Yeah, some of the regs are dumb. I mean, everybody knows that.
A lot, yeah. I mean,
Red
the red
snapper.
snapper.
I mean,
that always comes up
that's
first.
your
When we talk
perfect
about dumb
one.
regulations.
I mean, some of the snook regs, Goliath
Yeah.
grouper. I mean, there's a lot that need to be addressed. So
I think the gator regs are too strict too. I mean, I think they should have more tags out there. There's a ton of gators in this state.
so many, yeah. So
I mean,
me and my son, we go bass fishing out west, like far west, like by Miccosukee,
right,
and like the alligators accidentally always eat our fish,
right.
and there's as many there as you want. I mean, it's like every 10 feet you have 10 gators.
Even at the ramps at Locks.
Oh yeah, they're
Road,
everywhere.
they're all over the place.
Everywhere.
We take our kids there just to see the gators.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah.
Adam caught his first gator at 2.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like an 8-foot gator. It was awesome.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, yeah. We do it on bass rod. I mean, we catch the other fish that they eat on
Right.
bass rod because you're not
And
allowed to
the-
fish for gator.
Right, and the gator happens
Yeah,
to
it happens
eat
just-
your,
Dead fish that was
Yeah.
on the rod.
They're
By
too
accident.
quick.
By
Yeah, they're so
accident.
fast. Razor.
By accident. I love it out west.
Yeah, West it's a different lifestyle.
It's completely
it's not
like a
for
lot-
everybody.
See, that's the thing, man. Because you're like me. Most of your friends are probably out east.
Yep.
Right. So, but they don't ever come out here, and they think, oh, that's another thing. Another, it
So
makes no sense for me to go out there at all ever. But when they come out here, they're like, oh, it's kind of nice out here, and like, yeah, well, the Everglades, it's like a mile
Yeah, not even.
that way. We can.
It's really not that
fish it.
far out to the coast.
It's
I
not.
love it. I love living out here. It's like a meeting. The Everglades is right there if I want to go out that way, and I go out to the beach to fish all the time. It's really not that far.
It's a 20
When
minute
there's no traffic, it's even less.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's 6 miles.
It's not that big a deal. Like it's really not. I mean, and
Now rush hour it sucks.
rush hour. So
That's about
if you just time it right, then you'd be all right.
Quick.
You know what I mean?
I get to my shop from university to my shop in like 16, 17 minutes, no traffic.
Mhm.
It's easy.
Yeah, the housing's more affordable out here too.
Way.
The housing out east. Oh my
Holy
god!
crap.
Like I was we were looking at houses in that garden house in Pompano, and like what you would spend $500,000 on there, and what you can get for $500,000 out here. It's
Out here you
like
get a
night
mansion.
and day.
Yeah. 5 bedroom,
Not
3
that that's my
bath,
budget, but
half acre, It's,
Yeah.
it's totally different. So yeah, back to the Japan stuff.
yeah, go ahead.
So, very early on, we got into a form of fishing called slow pitch jigging. And slow pitch jigging at that time was, I'd say, probably the most niche form of fishing we had in the United States. When I got into it, there was probably 200 fishermen in the country doing it. I mean, like nobody. So from a business standpoint, it made 0 sense. I mean, there's nobody to buy this stuff.
Right.
And I took a very small crawl into it initially, and then as I started seeing it gain some steam, we went full force in it. And there's very few people that are full force in it now. Now you're seeing almost every tackle shop getting into it in some form or fashion, but they're so far behind. It's going to take them years to catch. No, it's not too late because it's an exploding form of fishing. But they're so far behind, it's going to take them so long to catch up. You can't just, you have a store, they have the one rod or maybe one reel that you want to use, but then they don't have everything else that goes with it. It's like if you walked into a store and you want to go kite fishing and you own nothing, you can't just buy the rod and reel.
Right.
You need everything else.
Yeah.
So it's the same thing with that. So slow pitch jigging's been around for about 16 years in Japan and about 12 years in Australia. And it's done all throughout Asia, all throughout that area of the world. And we just started doing it here, these group of small guys that have been doing it about 5 or 6 years ago, but really 2 to 3 years ago. And so these guys in Japan and these guys in Australia, they're ahead of the game because they've been doing it for so long. So all the good products right now are all either Japanese, Australian, Malaysian, and they're not available in the United States. And everybody wants them because you want the Rolls Royce, you want this thing that's going to catch the most fish or be the best. And so we started importing JDM products about 18 months ago. We've had over 10 different lines where we were the first still some of them the only in the country or even the Western Hemisphere to have these products. And I work every day to bring in more of those. We sign exclusive distribution rights. We sell to other shops. It's a whole lifestyle for us. And for the fishermen, I warn every single one, it's an addiction. Slow pitch jigging it's not cheap because it's new.
Take us through the process for people that might be listening or watching that are unfamiliar with it.
Yeah, so you take your hat off, you put your head down, you run into a wall first because that's what it is. Like
right.
it's crazy. So everybody knows vertical jigging. We've been doing it for 100 years. And I don't care how buff you are. I don't care how in shape you are. 2-3 drops in, you're like, I need a beer. I need a break.
I hate doing it, man. My back is just
it's great though. You catch fish,
right shape for it,
right? Because fish like reaction strikes. So slow pitch jigging, I explained it to people. A 90-year-old fat guy can do it all day long. Because with speed jigging, you're working that jig up, and it's up, 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 up. It's all about the up. And the fish is going to come up and eat it. With slow pitch, all you're doing is lifting the jig slowly and letting it free fall. And the jigs are designed so they don't all flutter. That's where I think a lot of newbies in it think that it's like a flutter jig. Some of them do flutter. But they're designed to move differently as they fall. And they always get ate as they're going down versus up. And what's nice about it is it's more targeted form of fishing. So if you're snapper or grouper fishing, you only got to fish the bottom 20 feet. So you're in 400 feet of water with speed jigging. You're starting either halfway down or all the way down. And you're working all the way up and then starting over. Here it's 20 feet, 30 feet max. I mean, snappers eating the zone. They don't come up too frequently unless you're chumming heavily and get them up there. But your big ones, what these guys are fishing for. So you bring it up 20 feet, you start over. Bring it up 20 feet, start over. It's really easy. You want to fish for tuna? Top half of the water column. So you could target it a lot easier. But more importantly, it's just, for example, the ease of it. Now, there's a lot of technique to it. And
I like the ease of things.
That's
personally.
That's what's getting all the people into it right now. It's like, wait a second, I could catch more fish.
I like it when it's easy.
Yeah. So over the past, Yankee Captain, that boat down in the Keys that goes on the long range trips to the Tortugas. Yeah. Go on there.
Amanda and Emily just took a big trip with them.
Everybody's slow pitch jigging. Everybody. Because it outfishes bait. It's crazy. I'll show you a picture. If I didn't get these spam risk calls all day long. This was a customer of mine came in the other day. He bought a slow pitch combo, bought some of our jigs. He was going to the Bahamas. Bahamas, great fishery for grouper, snapper, everything else. But the slow pitch catches everything.
What makes it? What's the construction of it? What makes it so much different than the other one?
So a slow pitch rod is like, technically they look like a pencil. They're razor thin, like they're so small, and they have this real parabolic action to it to make your ease on the up come up like a flick. So it's like flicking the jig up, and then you free fall it down. Flick it up, free fall it down.
Solid touch.
And then what we have to break and what we have to do is, you catch a fish, pump, reel down, pump, reel down. That's how we fish, right? With slow pitch, it's more of the torque of the reel. So you're not really pumping too much. You can do pumps, but not crazy because obviously you got this micro rod. It's like the size of your small bass rods.
It's like strength-wise, and
so
they hold up?
Yeah, they hold up. So then, but you're using the reel.
Right.
You're cranking it with the torque of the reel. You need very torquey reels. So I had a customer came in, got this, a few jigs of reel. He just literally before I walked in here sent me a text holding his rod and his reel. One of the jigs he bought at my store.
Damn.
70-pound wahoo or so.
Look at that.
Sick.
That's pretty.
Oh, yeah.
You got to send that picture over to John after
this.
this.
I'll plug it in so they can see it.
Yes, for sure.
Look at that, guys.
Yeah, so it catches, there's nothing it doesn't catch. Now, what we've done is when we go into our global sourcing of finding different products is we're looking for products that, one, can make it easier and more affordable for the newcomers. Because right now, if you want to get a good slow pitch combo, I mean, what people would call the good ones, it's $1,000, which isn't cheap. You know?
Yeah. For one setup?
That's one.
Yeah,
and nobody can have just one.
Right.
You need
for a very specified.
Correct. And there's different ratings of size and different, if you're going to fish 200 feet to 400 feet, you want to be the guy that wants to go out to 800 or 900 feet, fish rosies or tiles. So you got to have different setups for that. So we're trying to find affordable options, which we've found some affordable rods in Australia that we've been importing for over a year. We sell a lot of those. But then we're trying to find, we've been taught locally this one way to fish slow pitch. And it's not the only way. It just goes back to what I said in the beginning. And everybody thinks it's the only way because the guys locally, that's how they fish. But it's not the only way. So I just made a big announcement today. We signed a deal with a company out of Malaysia called Hardy Rise. in that small circle of hardcore jiggers, it's known as the Bugatti.
Really?
Like, it's the Bugatti of slow pitch rods.
Yeah, nice.
And
so you guys are exclusive here?
Exclusive. So we're the only...
Like, in the entire country?
Entire Western Hemisphere.
Get out.
Yeah.
All here, real deal, baby.
Yeah. So what their motto is pump like Superman. They literally, like, they fight these fish like we're fighting these fish on these micro rods, and the rods are built specifically to that. So what that's going to do is it's going to allow the guy... You meet some of these fishermen, there's no finesse in them.
Right.
You know, it's going to allow that guy to go slow pitch now, because once he hooks up, he doesn't have to retrain his brain on how to do it. He can go fight that fish exactly like he wants to, but still get the action and everything else out of it.
Changing the game, brother.
Trying. And then we got another deal we signed last month with a company called Seafloor Control. They're out of Japan. They're the Bugatti of jigs. They make a lot of slew of products, and we started bringing their products in last month, and they're the ones basically invented slow pitch jigging, the owner of the company. Every jig that you see in America today, doesn't matter what company makes it, is all an identical copy of Seafloor. I mean, they take the jig, they mold it. Here you go, we got slow pitch jig. They're all copies of every jig in the world leans back to Seafloor. So we're the only ones in the Southeast with those. There's a dealer in Massachusetts and one in New Jersey.
Wow.
Nobody on the West Coast. So we're just trying to, like, bring in stuff that the guys drool about as they're looking online. And now they'll actually be able to feel it. Like, I went to Hardy Rise, got my first order in. Goods will be in the next 2 weeks. Made the social media announcement today at like 8 o'clock in the morning, and I've already pre-sold like 15 rods.
Nice.
Yeah, and they're $650, $700 a piece. So, but when people saw, holy crap, I could.
Yeah, you're the only place they can get them.
Besides the only place you can get them, because we're in a monkey see, monkey do business.
Right.
Somebody's going to contact them, and eventually my exclusivity will run out, and then everybody's going to want to have them. It's the style.
We're putting it on record right now, though.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
We're burning it to film,
Yep.
right? We're putting it on the internet, because once it's on the internet, it's true, right?
First.
You're the first.
Yeah.
So you're the real
We're the
deal.
first with a lot of stuff. So that's what separated us from day one is I don't mind taking risks. Other stores call me their guinea pig. I don't want to bring this in yet. Let me see how Mike does first with it.
Yeah.
And then when they see I'm doing well, they're like, oh, okay, great. I'm going to bring this in.
Right.
And I'm like, everybody's like, oh, take it as a form of flattering. I'm like, yeah, whatever you say. I'm not flattered by it. But then where it helps me is, I have a lot of other brands where I'm the only store you can get it. And because they wouldn't take the risk or they didn't know how to take the risk, I still have that exclusivity. Brand you fish a lot. No live bait needed.
Yep.
It's the #1 selling snook tarpon product
He's
in
the
the
only
state of Florida.
tackle company that has them.
Yeah,
I'm the only tackle shop.
You're carrying them?
Yeah.
You're killing it with those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out to the No Live Bait Needed crew.
No live bait needed.
Jose,
We'll
Brandon,
flash that
good
up.
guys.
Flash them up. We'll give them a shout out because I got to tell you, I've been paying ever since you've been posting that like every time. Like no live bait needed.
I have other tackle shops call me and they're like,
Yep.
like, how do you get those? I'm like, you can. I'm actually shocked. Like the other day, and I have nothing against this tackle shop. Like somebody from Tuppence called me and they're like, hey, you guys saw that no live bait needed? So I'm like, yeah. Like how can we get in contact them and get them? I'm like, you got to do that work yourself, man.
Yep.
Like, I'm like, good luck. But like, I've never met anybody from there. Like they just blind call me out of the blue, like, and ask me that.
Right.
So like, that's the downside. But we did that. We were the ones that broke nomads into the country from Australia. That was a big craze back last fall. We did it with Hoagie, did it Barracuda cast nets, no live bait needed. Now we're doing all the JDM stuff. So we're always the first to jump in, and then everybody follows. But I'll find the next first always. That's
admirable, man. That really is. I mean, it's really an admirable thing to be an innovator. Like
it's
that.
risky, but
Yeah, but that's
so I'm honed in on my customer. So to me, there's no risk in it.
right. That's what I mean. That's what I was going to say. It's like it's risky, but it's like what we said before about establishing a business through relationships. It's like your customer. Like just like I know my customer. I know what they're going to buy, and I know what they're going to like and what they're not going to like. See, we have a policy here at the studio is that we never put out crap. And I don't mean just like artwork.
Yeah.
Like that's a given. Like
Clothing,
like
stickers,
everything.
Everybody can go on
everything
any
we
website
put
order
out
a
here is
2-cent
top
sticker.
level stuff. That's it. That's our clientele. And we like to think that our customer base understands that before they even pick up the phone.
Yep, I'm the same way.
So we've had customers in the past say, we'll print it like, I just want it cheap on this cheap shirt. And I was like, you know what? Then call the dude down the street because I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to put my name on that.
No, it's
because
smart.
the name goes on everything.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
100%
We always want to
smart.
be just known as just quality stuff. But that's our clientele.
So that gets back to also like what we talked about earlier, some things that can be confusing though. Is people think quality has to be expensive.
That's very true.
And there's a lot of quality stuff that's inexpensive or affordable is the
Yep.
word.
There are some very expensive shirts that a lot of people ask us to get for them, and I'm like, yeah, you don't want that shirt because you're paying too much.
I use the example all the time. You got a polo shirt, $70. You got a JCPenney's polo shirt, $12. Can they be that much different? Yeah, there's obviously a better stitching, a better feel of this. Built a shirt, you know, and so like you can get good stuff at affordable prices. And then, you know, that's another thing about my business is, you know, I shopped at a lot of these local tackle shops for a long time, and they're all great. I mean, I love competition. Anybody that's ever talked to me knows that, like, I want to get in the ring. Like, I love competition. There's enough business for everybody. So, like,
Sure is.
I don't have to badmouth anybody. Like, I like going head up against them. That's my thing. But, like, some of the, you know, we have an amazing market for fishing down here. And we have a lot of guys that spend a lot of money. And so these stores, some of them forgot about the average Joe. And the average Joe at all times is welcome in my store. And we treat them, whether they spend $5, $50, $500, $5,000,
Right.
service is the same. You know, every single person we have, they buy a case of chum. Like, they don't ever have to carry that. We carry it out to their car. Like, it doesn't change no matter what you spend.
Yeah.
And we built our business on that, on the little guy.
Yeah.
Like, still to this day, I don't service the big boat clientele. You know, the guys with the merits and all that. You know, I love them. When I get lucky and one comes in, great.
It's tough with that industry or that demographic too, because a lot of them are very much stay in their lane, loyalty to their places that they've been going to.
They're
for
in
years.
Lighthouse Point. They're in East Fort Lauderdale. There's shops right there that have catered to them for a long time. There's no point for them to drive over to me, you know?
Yeah.
But that business has allowed me to put my business where it is and target everybody else.
Yeah. It's interesting to kind of, you know, look at things from that perspective. Not even just specifically, you know, for us, but just as a business owner, a small business owner in general. And, you know, just know your clientele and just understand where the need is for your products and your services. And you know, you're going to be successful if you keep working hard and you dedicate the time.
Yeah, it's it. So business and all business goes back to two things: fair price and honesty. It's not that hard to just not rip somebody off. It's not that hard to just be honest with your customer. Tell them what it is. Tell them how it is. Tell them if you can do it, if you can't do it. Guys will ask me, hey, can you get me this? No, I'm sorry, man. You sure? I'm like, yeah, I can't get it. You know, I'm just being honest with you. Or,
Right.
hey, I can get it for you, but it's 3 weeks. You know, you have to say, oh, yeah, I'll have it for you in 3 days, even though they know they can't get it in 3 days. So just be honest with customers. And that's
Yeah.
all you need. It's not, business isn't hard.
That's one thing I learned early on too, is about the whole overpromise and underdeliver kind of thing. It's like
When I was
gotta
like,
underpromise and
when I was
overdeliver.
young, I was the king promiser.
Yeah.
No matter what, if I was in a meeting to get a deal done, oh yeah, we could do that for you, no problem. I get back to the office, I'm like, shit, what did I do?
early on, I learned quick that that's the very wrong way to do business.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's how you can do quick business.
Right.
That's how you can get a deal done here. It's not how you do long-term business.
That's a good point.
So,
Yeah, definitely. And you know, I guess my wife and I, have you seen this documentary called McMillions?
Oh yes, I did. Yes.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy with that whole McDonald's monopoly scam, right?
Oh yeah,
But,
it's crazy.
Like,
The guy was printing them, or not printing. They were.
because he was the head of security. And
Yeah,
he was
and he was
stealing
stealing
them
them,
from
and
the
then he
briefcase.
would hire people to cash them in for him, and they would get a cut.
Yeah,
It was great.
he didn't want to pay the taxes. He couldn't because he's
Yeah,
the
he
one
worked
in
for
charge
them.
of. Yeah, he was. So he
Insane.
took the cash.
I did see it. That's funny.
Right.
I
So
just
it's
don't remember
crazy,
anything.
but like it comes like a lot of it comes down to knowledgeable honesty, right? So if there's a difference between knowing that you're scamming someone and not knowing that you're scamming someone, like unknowingly, like I think that a lot of people like got their feet held to the fire that shouldn't have in that scenario. Like I think a lot of people like there was like Gloria Brown.
Yeah, they
right?
thought
Where
they were
she
actually
was
blessed, and like
she was blessed that someone gave that to her, but then I think once she kind of sensed that there was something wrong going on, it was too late because then she feels like she's involved with the mafia, and she's like, I better cash this thing out, so they're gonna
think the mafia
die,
exists.
right? What's that?
You think the mafia exists?
Do I think the mafia? I know the mafia exists.
So do I. That's what I was asking.
Yeah, no, for sure they do.
So I grew up in Coral Springs, like we said. I don't know anybody. my age that grew up in Coral Springs, but on the corner of Royal Palm and University was a sports card store, baseball cards, called Tom Sports Cards. Anybody that grew up my era knowed it.
Yeah.
It was the only shop in town.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I worked there from 6 to 16 because I lived on the block behind it. And,
Okay.
So I'd go in, clean his glass when I was really young, and then I actually worked there. And I didn't know it early on, but the guy was just hardcore mafia. Like, as hardcore as it gets. The whole shop, everything was all a front. Everything about it.
That's the thing, you know.
And you don't notice it.
You know, the funny thing is like, you know, the old mafia in the 80s in New York, like really like just tore apart small businessmen.
Well,
like,
they were able to. They could be upfront and out about it.
Yeah.
Ever since the RICO Act was created, which I believe was 1999, they're underground.
Yeah.
They can't talk. Just talking about it will get them life in prison. So they're still out there. They just
there.
move a little differently.
They're there. I mean, one of a good friend of mine growing up, I can't say anything more about it than that. I know for a fact his family was involved in the mafia and stuff like that up in New Jersey. But so that's how I know, like for sure. Like, definitely exists.
There's people that think it's fake and just like the movies, but
no, it's real. I mean, what do I know? I went to art school, so I got nothing on nobody. Don't come get me.
It's crazy.
Yeah. So you don't ever get out to fishing? We just freshwater pretty much for the most part, right?
No, I get out and do a lot of fishing. Salt. You know, like I said, I fish all Jamie's tournaments, most of the Mayhem tournaments. And when I'm not fishing with my team, you know, I fish on Team Running Game. My captain, Mike Connell. When I'm not fishing with them, I do some fishing with Bombshell. Yep. So I fished the Pelagic tournament with them right before Corona started. We won that tournament. So I just try to save my fishing days for meaningful days. Bahamas trip, Keys trip.
That's kind of the same thing.
I don't have like the time to like just go take a day. Like, to me, the value of taking a day off to go out and catch a couple of kingfish right now is a payoff that's not working for me.
Right. No,
so time will come, or I'll be able to go out and fish 4 days a week like all the other shop owners.
Yeah, you know, like all the other shop owners. It's funny, like the RJ Boyles of the world.
I did not say that. I respect that shop a lot. So, no, I do.
I like RJ. He's a friend of the studio.
Yeah, he's got a great brand started over there, you know. And while we may have differences in our approaches to the business, he's a powerhouse, and he's a local legend. And you know, there was a right when I opened up, probably about 6 months after I opened up, I sponsored this little Wahoo tournament, and he wound up fishing the tournament, and I was the weigh-in banner was. That's where my sponsorship banner went, was at the weigh-in scales. And the way they had to do the scale, they actually couldn't hang my banner, so the guy felt bad, so he made every team that went up hold my banner up. And when RJ's team got up there, RJ held the real deal up like this. And I got a text, I'm like, hey, did you see this? And I'm like, what the you know, like, no, I did not see that. I was like, holy crap. But back then, I don't think I was so new. I don't even think he knew who I was.
RJ's going to kill me, but we're flashing that picture up right about now.
Yeah. So it's on my Instagram. Just looked about a year and a half ago. And it was like crazy to me. And then I put it up that day, and I said it was more flattering than anything just to have somebody of that nature who's been a local legend in the tackle business for so long to even just do that gesture, you know, like
he's an authority fisherman too.
Yeah, I don't want to sound like a dick, but like I'm not going out doing that right now. Like if somebody came up to me like, here, hold this up for a picture of like one of my competitors, like even though I don't mind them.
Right. Well, it's your business.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But it was his business. That's why I give him credit for doing it, you know?
Well, that's again. There's a fine line. Like we always say in Connected by Water, it's like, well, Connected by Water, like the whole theory behind it is like community.
Yeah.
Right? Like we're all kind of like, you talk about the bubble, but like once you really get into the community, the bubble's even smaller.
Yep.
Right? But we're all kind of like in this together, but we're kind of not.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But
going
it's
against each other.
Yeah, but if you do it for a living, you're getting paid. There's the basic law of competition is alive and well. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, it's like we are still a community, and we all still got to do embrace each other a little bit.
So when I worked,
unless you're like some places that we spoke about before the show, but
leave those for later.
Yeah.
So I used to work for a $7 billion distributor that sold every brand in the world, you name it, and it wasn't until I got there that I like truly understood competition. So like once a month, we were part of what was called the Big Four. And in consumer electronics, there's 4 monster distributors. We were the smallest at $7 billion. The biggest one's a $60 billion distributor. And each month, the Big Four finance departments would have a call with each other. And I'm like, wait, what? Like, we're like banging heads every day.
It's like the mafia commission.
Yeah. So they'd have a call and they'd be like, hey, what account is hurting? You know, how's your credit looking with this one? Are they paying? Are they this? And these aren't like Joe Bob's repair shop for iPhones in Arkansas. It's like, how's Walmart doing? How's Best Buy? Now, clearly, you don't worry about Walmart, but some of these regional chains that we don't know about here in South Florida, but like could be like a Kroger or Fred Meyer or ABC Electronic in Michigan. You know, you start asking how they doing, how's their credit worthiness, and then they'd share that. Hey, we've downgraded. Hey, Kmart's been on a downward spiral for 2 years. We just cut their line. They're not a customer. And then we would all share that data, and it helped us all. And then the sales departments would have these calls and say, hey, guys, we spent too long making a race to the bottom. It's not helping any of us. Let's just have an understanding that, yeah, we're all going to scratch for business, but you dropping your pants every single time is not helping any of us.
Right.
We're not here. I mean, if anybody doesn't understand that you, me, the next businessman, anybody that's in business is in business to make money, then you're kind of lost from reality. Like, that's the goal of a business, is to turn a profit. So, but when you race to the bottom, it makes it very hard.
Very hard.
And everything in America has been a race to the bottom for a very long time now. When I got into selling into retail, there was a very common term. Anybody that listens that knows what I'm talking about, is called Keystone. Keystone is double your money.
Price, yeah.
It's keep your margin whole at 50%. 50% margin is 100% double of your money. Doesn't exist anymore. Finding Keystone is like, there's nothing that you can make that on. Very few things.
Yeah.
Make it on like $2 hooks. It costs you $1. Like the $40 hooks, they cost you $35. Like, yeah, it's cheap stuff, you know?
Right.
And
like Reels is the same way. There's no markup on Reels.
I'll give you guys an insight. Most people don't know this. So, selling PlayStations to Walmart, $2.99 retail. What does Walmart pay for that?
No clue.
$2.95.
Loss leader?
So by the time they get it to their DC, put it on their trucks, move it to their stores, they've lost money.
So it's a loss leader.
Gets
it's
you in the
kind of
door.
like Best Buy used to do with like refrigerators.
Yeah,
I mean,
but this isn't every.
they used to do that. See, I was in a very similar industry with you with the music distribution. I worked for the world's largest distributor of CD, DVD, and Blu-ray.
Yep.
The Alliance
The one
Entertainment.
here in Coral Springs, Alliance. Yep.
I was the senior creative director there. I ran the whole creative and marketing department. I had 20 designers underneath me, and we marketed all the same customers you did.
Yep.
Best Buy, Walmart,
you guys had
we
Brands Mart.
distributed all of them. We were the world's largest. But still, there were Super D's in California. There was other distributors that they did the same thing. We were all we eventually merged with them because with streaming and everything, the entire industry like
it's crazy how it happened.
Coconut in a bra, it's just like fell right to the bottom of the floor. But yeah, man, I get it. It's like but for Best Buy, we were their loss leader.
Yep.
We're like, they had to explain that to us as a creative department one time. Like, I walked into Best Buy, and I'm like, wait a minute. Our magazine's showing that they're buying that new Madonna release for $12.99. How are they selling it for $10.99?
They don't care.
When they got it from us, and I know how much they're buying it for. And then the head of marketing explained to me, like, the music, we're a loss leader to them. Yeah. That gets them in the store
to buy paper towels
refrigerators and
whatever it is.
TVs and all the other stuff.
So when you go buy a PlayStation, I mean, it comes with one controller. Maybe if you get lucky, a couple times a year, it comes with a game. Yeah. What else do you have to buy?
Right.
Games, controllers, chargers, all your accessories. That's where the big bucks come in.
Yep.
Games is where the huge bucks are. So, like, you go make a PlayStation game right now, just your licensing fee from PlayStation is $16 per disc you print, not per disc you sell. So you made your game, you spent all this money to create it. Now your licensing fee is $16 per disc. That's why there's no money. On the other side, they don't care.
Right.
That's where the profits
come. The retail world is so weird.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
So, Reels are like that, too. People think we make, like, a ton of money on Reels. The margins are very thin on Reels.
Yeah.
We need to sell you line, a rod, lures, terminal tackle. Those are our good deals. Somebody walks in, buys a reel, walks out without getting it spooled. You're like,
yeah.
You feel like you're losing money because the next guy might have got it spooled and bought a rod and everything else, So, but I don't look at any of it that way. It's like people come in my store, like, you take credit card, you take this. I'm like, I take Bitcoin, credit card, IOUs, check, cash, PayPal, Venmo, whatever you want. I don't say no, because
leave a kid, you leave
I don't care
dog.
about the cost of that, the business, if it's 3% on PayPal or if it's 2.5% to my credit card, it all blends at the end of the quarter or the month.
Yeah, no, people. Yeah, it's the same thing. It's like it doesn't really.
But let me just make it clear: we love cash.
We love cash. We do love cash.
But even if you're using cash, I'm still charging you tax, people. This isn't 1990.
Right.
So
especially when you buy an original painting commission, we love cash.
Yeah. So yeah, it's business is interesting right now.
Yeah.
You know, it's definitely different that I've seen over 20 years of doing retail.
Mm-hmm.
You know, people ask me, hey, you know, you spent 20 years in retail selling big box, watching the big guys smash the little guys. Everyone's like, oh, all the little guys are going out of business. And I'm like, no, they're not. All the crappy little guys are going out of business. The good ones are always going to be there.
Right.
You know, you're not walking into Walmart right now and finding a Stan Rue or Sea Witch or No Live Ain't Needed or the next guy. So, you just got to bring something to the table. If you bring nothing to the table and you're just doing the same crap every day, or you sell the same crap as Walmart or the next guy, what do you bring? There's no reason for them to go there.
I think with the exception of Walmart, I think a lot of big box really took a huge hit throughout this, didn't they? No?
So clothing, anything where you had to get really up close and Ross,
That's what I mean.
TJ Maxx, those big box definitely hurt.
Like Bass Pro didn't do too well throughout this thing, did they?
Oh, they killed it.
On e-com?
In-store.
An in-store?
In-store. And then boat sales.
Boat sales are up 210%.
I know boat sales are up.
Bass Pro, you walk in Bass Pro right now, it's empty. Everything's bought. And everything they get in sells. It's crazy. I have customers coming to my store every day. Oh, yeah, I went to Bass Pro first. They didn't have it. I'm like, well, thanks for going there first. But, yeah, I appreciate you spending little guy, you know.
I heard in the beginning of coronavirus it wasn't going too well.
I closed down for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
But I didn't do it because of business. My business was actually really good. So in the beginning, you know, there's media lying to us. You didn't know what to do. Yeah. Single dad.
We did the same thing too. We all went home, and then after a while, we just started creeping back in here. Like, why are we home?
So we made a decision. Yeah. You know, in the beginning, it was 2 weeks. 2 weeks. You know, you got to.
Right.
So we made the decision, asked my son where he wanted to go. And he's like, Dad, I just got a puppy at Mommy's house. I'm like, go, you know, I'll work, no problem. And then, like, as we were coming up on the end of the 2 weeks, I was like, this is not going to be 2 weeks. Like, I can't go longer without seeing my child, you know? And then she's like, all right, well, yeah, you can take him back, you know? But you got to quarantine for 2 weeks because that's what they thought you had to do, even if you weren't sick.
Right.
So I closed the store. I did
remember seeing
curbside and deliveries where I didn't see anybody and quarantine for 2 weeks to get my kid back. It was not a business decision. It was a life decision.
You know, it's kind of really crazy. Like in the beginning, because you didn't know what the hell this thing really was. So everyone was kind of like, I remember it was like Friday the 13th, like March 13th. It was like really when everyone really
thought you left the house, you're going to die.
Yeah. Like, you know, I remember like looking around to like everyone that worked here, like, all right, everyone just go home. I'll call you like over the weekend so we can figure this out. Let's just go home. Right. Because you start seeing all these stories flying around. And then I said the policy is basically like, if you want to work from home, we'll get you network access. You can work from home if you feel more comfortable. That's fine like that. I'm like, I'm going to work from home just this week, just to see, like, because you didn't know where things were going. Yeah. And you hear all the crazy stories. It's funny that you don't see the funny memes anymore.
No.
Right? They used to, in the beginning of this, like the memes were hilarious. They were all over the place. Oh, coronavirus, this, coronavirus, that. Now we're like, all right, fuck this shit.
Yeah.
We're done. Right, please. Like, it's just like, this is too long. This is too crazy. Let this stop. But I think at this point, like, obviously, coronavirus is real. Right?
Yeah,
because
100%.
people are getting sick. You know,
the information isn't real, though.
The information isn't real. The statistics are. I personally think, I'm going to raise my hand. I'm a firm believer that Florida is being sabotaged with their numbers right now for political reasons.
Everything's political.
I think we're in a listen. We're in an election year. Nothing is done in an election year that doesn't have anything to do with the election. Everything is about the election.
I think people just don't understand like how strong the government is.
They're keeping Biden hidden.
Yeah.
God, we're getting into politics. Here we go, John.
No politics.
No, we can. They're keeping him hidden. They don't want him to open his mouth.
How's your business been since you reopened?
Phenomenal.
So
through the roof.
This is and
I'm not kidding.
It's a sore subject because I truly feel bad for the businesses that are still hurting, people that are still out of work. But every business owner that shops at my store, no matter what the industry, is having a record-breaking 3 months. Every single one. Roofers, repair guys, car dealers, boat dealers, anybody, doesn't matter the business. If they're open, they're booming. My business has doubled in the last 3 months. Every tackle shop has done the same. Shops that were hurting got saved by Corona.
Yep.
Shops that were doing good are now doing great. Shops that are doing great are
economy's
amazing.
up. They tried. They
there's
tried their best. They gave it the old college try, but they couldn't stop it.
There's a lot of free money flowing around, whether it was stimulus, PPP, SBA, a lot of money going around. So you don't just give out, $4 trillion and it just doesn't go.
Guys are buying Lamborghinis.
Listen,
did you hear about that guy?
Guys can't. Yeah, the one that scammed a few $1 million in Miami. Look, the U.S. population doesn't know how to save money.
No,
we spend it. I don't care who you are.
It's how we roll, man.
Yeah. So people got free money, they spent it. The guy that always wanted that $400 reel that couldn't really afford it, when he got that $1,200, it was easy, but it was every other business. But then there are movie theaters, your bars, your restaurants, which the hospitality business is bad. But anybody else that's open, because that free money also led to the guy that needed a new roof, got his new roof. The guy that wanted to remodel his kitchen. The girl that wanted... like
the one door closes, the other one opens kind of thing. And that's kind of what happened here.
100%.
Where there's certain things that, but restaurants are still doing the takeout business pretty good.
During the first closure, there's a restaurant very close by. I'm not going to say the name. We'll talk about it after. It's literally 30 seconds away from here. They didn't want to reopen because they were so busy doing carryout. And just making so much money doing carry out.
The people that really took
and this was like a sit down / carry out. Yeah, the staff hurts.
Yeah.
But he didn't want to reopen because he's like, I'm making more money than I've ever made. My overhead's down. But he's now reopened, obviously, and the staff's back, and I wish everybody gets back to work. So I've actually added 4 employees in the last 4 months. I never laid an employee off. Even when I closed for 2 weeks, I paid all my employees. They sat home, did nothing. But I just feel like, that was my decision.
Yeah, good for you.
That wasn't their decision. That was my decision. So, so we did that. But yeah, no, it's every single business owner I talk to that's not in hospitality.
Yep.
They're all booming. Every single one.
Well, especially when it's for us too. If boat sales are up, then our business is up.
Through the roof.
That's just the bottom line. That trickles down to us.
So that's how connected we are by the water.
Yeah, by water.
Sell more boats, I'm going to sell more fishing reels. Sell more boats, you're going to sell more designs. And we're all connected in a way that people don't even realize.
Right.
So, and for the fishing community, as terrible as Corona is, for the fishing business, I should say, it was one of the best things that ever happened. Not just from the boost in business, it created 10% new fishermen at least.
Yeah.
Because you weren't allowed to do anything else.
Yep.
Let's go fishing. And then it brought back in another 10% that kind of didn't fish maybe once a year. They turned into the 4 times a week guy all of a sudden. Now they got the bug back. So you now had this, not only everybody fishing. You want to
get outside. Everyone's locked inside. You want to get outside. You want to expose your kids to this.
I went to GameStop the other day. My son needed a new PlayStation controller. I broke it by accident. And I walked in. I'm like, I need a new PS4.
What did you lose?
What? The controller?
That you broke a controller. Was it Madden? Was it?
No, we're not going to get into that. when he's bad, I don't hit. I'm like not a believer in hitting my child. But
no, I'd throw the.
No, I'll break your controller though, man. So that was a little smash and go. But so I went in. They laughed at me. I'm like, what do you mean? They're like, we haven't seen a controller in months, like a console in months. Like we sold out instantly. Like people are sitting home. I'm like, shit, yeah, I get it. Yeah. Then I went online. I went to Amazon. PS4 controller, 0. Best Buy, 0. I'm like, and that's when I felt a lot better about the supply constraints that I'm having in my business.
Right.
I'm like, if Best Buy and Amazon, GameStop doesn't have consoles and controllers, I shouldn't feel bad about, a 10 or 15% outage in my store. That's the core of their business.
Right.
So
it's happening all around. I even talked to a friend of mine who makes custom lures.
Craig.
Well, not Craig, but Andy Moyes. I was talking to Andy Moyes about it. And, he was like, yeah, man, supply chain is very tough to get the materials I need right now.
Not just the materials, the hooks.
Right.
Then he needs to make his hook sets.
Yeah.
It's everything.
So,
but I did see Craig made a lure for you.
Yeah, Craig made a custom lure for me.
That's my
got
dude.
name on it. Yeah.
Yeah, we sell his lures, so we've always sold them in my store. And
yeah, so I'm going to be throwing that in that painting.
Nah, I saw it.
After I'll show you how the angle I'm going to do.
It's the right color, too. That's my favorite. The
Tiger orange. He was like taking pictures of it, and I'm like, nah, can you just turn it this way? Can you just turn it this way? And he's like, what's your address?
Yeah. Just going to send it to you. Yeah. So Craig's an amazing lure builder. My opinion, one of, if not the best Wahoo lure makers locally. But see, that's the thing, like people don't get, like you can't be all. and he doesn't have to be. He's really good at marketing, not the best, but that's not his thing. He's a lore builder. He's a creator. He creates things like you, an artist. And that's where people sometimes don't understand. It's like, you can't do it all. You got to surround yourself with good people to do certain things if you want the business to be right, you know? Like being here. Like I was able to walk out of my store today feeling okay about it. You know, I got 3 guys there right now that anything that goes on, they're capable. You know, if you do, there's nobody that can do anything on their own.
No, there's no doubt.
You're the driver.
I can attest to that for sure. I mean, case in point, this show doesn't happen without him.
Yep.
Like,
no, every time we talked to Planny, he's like, the first thing he said was like, let me find out when John's going to be available.
Yeah.
And that was the first thing.
There's no way. There's not even just the episode.
I mean, the first time you told me that, like, you didn't need him and he's trash. Not trash.
Well, that was after, I tried to do it myself. I tried to do it myself once, and it just, I guess I do need him. No.
I know. I'm looking over and like, there's notes are.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
There's a lot that goes
See the way
into
he
it.
edits the
It's
show
unreal.
is gorgeous, right? He does the whole thing, but it's not even just the episode, not even just the editing that he does. But it's just like building this entire room.
Yeah.
Just I did the art, but
It's falling apart a little bit over here.
yeah, it's
but
falling. Got some of
Still.
the things falling off the wall. Mahi comes in. Jenny's dog Mahi.
Yeah,
anyway,
yeah.
shout out. I promised her I'd do this.
You did it already. Oh.
At Eyes of Mahi. I think it's eyes_of_Mahi.
Is that her
Follow
dog's
Eyes of
Instagram?
Mahi. It's his dog. She said, Joe, you gotta do 1 followers for Mahi. Blah, blah, blah. Eyes of Mahi at Instagram. There, Jenny, I did it. Okay.
My
So anyways, what I was gonna say was he built this whole room, right? But we also have Jenny who runs production, right? And we got Brian who's the art director and helping out, laying all these things. It's like you
Imagine
need
you
these
had to do
people,
all that.
Yeah, no,
Can't.
I was doing all of that.
yeah.
And that was part of the problem in the past where it's like with the under-promise, over-deliver kind of thing. Because in my mind, I'm like, yeah, I can do all that.
Can't.
And you find out very quickly that, you cannot. It's a team effort. Anything that's meaningful, I think you can't do it on your own.
Yeah, it's tough. Like, I got my shop
And
manager.
I still can't afford to take any time off.
And neither do I.
Yeah.
My shop manager right now, my main thing is, Corona really put this in my head, is I'm teaching how to do everything I do. I need a backup plan, like not even just Corona. Like
Right.
if I got Corona right now, obviously I got to sit home for 2 weeks. That I need somebody to know what they're doing there. But like, what happens in the future if like something else happens that I got to be out for a week or 2 or 3, or
Yep.
making sure that somebody there that can run it and do it and all that. So that's us in South Florida, we have that hurricane preparedness plan.
Right.
Which last year I got, as a new business owner, that was my first time going, holy crap, what do I do in the case of a storm? And,
Especially you got the glass storefront.
I got big guns. No, just joking.
No, I'm saying,
it's true.
what if something happened? All your
I
products
have
destroyed?
accordion shutters, luckily.
Yeah.
So that helps. But last year showed us our inexperiences with it and taught us a lot. I took every reel in the store home. I didn't want.
Yeah.
I was like, looters are gonna get them all, even though my place is like Fort Knox.
Right.
I mean, I got bars, I got 20 security cameras. The only way they go to my store is. I mean, edit that
To
out.
the what? What part?
Yeah.
A specific
But
part
yeah,
of the
and then
roof?
not only that, last year they said that storm was gonna be like the worst rainstorm ever. So anything that was below like 3 feet, we took down and then like raised it.
It's a lot of work.
Oh, it took us it took us a good week to get the store back together.
Oh, man.
So like that's not happening this weekend.
Yeah. Well, we got a storm eyeing us right now, which I'm
Yeah.
welcoming with open arms.
Yeah,
Because it's a baby,
it's a little one.
and I want it to scare the tourists, the COVID-laced tourists. I want them to go home.
I'm just looking at it like not too many people are gonna fish in a bunch of rain and 50.
Right.
So like I might actually get to close for a day.
Yeah.
Like I run a 7-day-a-week business. Like, people don't understand that. So last year I got smart. I closed on Thanksgiving. That was the only day we were closed last year. But like, so 364 days. And that's the tiring part of what I got
That's a
into.
tough part about retail. People ask us all the time, like, "Oh, are you going to have a store?" And I'm like, we do so much custom business, right? Like that's like the meat and potatoes of what we do is custom. We have retail.
Yeah.
We have an e-com model, and we do well at it.
Yep.
You know what I mean? But it's nothing.
Remember your Bahama shirt?
That was
You weren't
not-
ready for that. That was good.
No,
That was a good learning experience
I wasn't
for you
ready
too.
for that at all. I mean, $40,000 donation. We sold. God, I don't know how many shirts it was in 3.5 days. That's all I had
It
to
was
cut
all
off. I had to
through
stop
email.
it.
Yeah.
I had to all through email. We didn't even have
Nah.
a web. We didn't have an e-com website up. People were emailing me this.
So I do that now. I have a website, but my focus is laser focus on the store.
Right.
And it goes back to like, I don't like half-assing anything.
Mm-hmm.
So I spend a lot of money on my website, but the loading of the product is a very expensive process, either time or paying a company to do it.
Yep.
And I've had to like put it on the back burner. And it's like, where do I find time or money to do it all? You know?
See, yeah, well, we did it all here. Trust me, you're preaching to the choir. It's not an easy task.
No, people don't understand
It's a very
that.
time-consuming task. I mean, I'm talking like late nights, weekends, but like
I have 4,000 products on my website right now.
SKUs.
It's nothing. Like for me to have my complete website the way that it needs to be, it's 20,000 SKUs.
Yeah.
I have like 11,000 SKUs in my store right now.
Wow.
When you mix all the different sizes, swivels, hooks, this, that, skirt colors, this. I mean, it's,
See, and then you got to weigh out whether or not like the time or the whatever
of loading
you pay
it.
for someone.
If
to
I pay,
do
it's $3 a product.
right, and then there you go. I mean, but for every single little hook.
Everything.
No thanks.
That's why my website lacks.
You're gonna have to
but
do
getting
it
back to your
eventually,
email
right?
thing is, I do a substantial amount of business online,
Yeah.
but it's not through my website. It's through social media.
Right.
Through forums and groups and just communicating with people,
Right.
like actually talking to somebody. So, you know, luckily we're a 5-star shop. Every platform you go to, Google, Facebook, Yelp, doesn't matter, 100% 5 stars, not even one single 4-star. Actually, wait, I take that back. So I just saw the other day on Yelp, some lady cut me off on the road and I like yelled at her. And then she went to
Did
Yelp
you?
and she was like,
Because you
the
have it
guy
on the
driving
truck.
the real deal
Yeah.
truck yelled at me. And I'm like, wait,
Oh,
lady,
man.
you cut me off.
The
Like,
real deal truck.
yeah, like you cut me off. And okay, anyway, so like that's the
Yeah.
only 4-star I have, I think.
That's awesome.
Yeah. But so like, but that goes back to just like answering people. Like somebody writes and asks a question, like I'm quick to answer. And I'm the one that runs all my social media pages. So they always get an answer from me.
Yep.
So it's not, oh, let me go ask the boss, let me go ask this. Even though if like something I don't like, I always tell them I got to ask my boss.
I have 3 people.
I use that one a lot. Guys
funny.
will come in trying to sell me something. They're like, yeah, you know, we want to sell this. I'm like, oh, the boss isn't here today, but I'll get with him for you, you know?
Yeah. Well, let me ask Dennis, see what he says.
Yeah.
Hold on. No, but no, we have actually 3 people across all of our social media platforms that know the answer to everything. So
Yeah,
people are
that's awesome.
always
I hope I can
responding
get to that point.
Yeah.
Married to my phone. Sucks.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's the world we live in, though.
There's a couple of things I want to show you out here that hopefully you can help me out with too.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, so yeah, cool, man.
Yeah.
Well, shit,
It was fun.
you got to be a regular on the show.
We'll do it.
You live like right down the street.
Literally. Yeah.
So
Well, I live on 1750
Yeah.
East Commercial. That's my real house. I have a condo over here with a bed in it.
Dude, I say
stay
that
at
all the
sometime,
time.
But
I'm like, if there were a shower in this building, I'd never freaking.
so
come
where I
home.
got lucky is like 2 units down from me was a tarot card place. Going back to our fronts. And they got evicted and it was empty for like a year and a half, but they lived in there. And I had the key to
really?
it to do showings, but they had this like gorgeous bathroom they built with like a shower. So I was like, when I slept there, I always had like a nice shower to go shower in.
Oh my God.
It was awesome. It was great. Now it's rented out and I'm like, man, I can't ever sleep there again. But I try not to do that anymore if I don't have to.
Yeah. No, it's funny. We got the couch back here. I got.
I had to
plenty
get
of
rid of my
space.
casting
I got
couch.
the TV. The TV works. you
Casting
know.
couch is gone, man. It's no, I'm just joking.
The casting couch. I just got that.
Yeah, it's gone, unfortunately. We had to move it out. We needed more freezers. So
Yeah.
we're up to 7 freezers. By the way, good luck trying to buy a freezer anywhere in the state right now.
Yeah. No, I looked.
They're gone.
I know.
Everybody hoarding their food for
I
Corona.
looked. That's
Yeah.
exactly it.
I had to buy a bunch of little ones.
I was going
Luckily,
to buy one for the back porch. I reach in. and
let me know. I'm friends with the owners of Brandsmark.
Oh, really?
Yeah, well, they used to be a big customer of mine.
All right. Yeah.
I can get you one.
All right.
Anytime you need freezers, TVs, electronics, anything with a plug, I'm your plug.
All right. Cool. I'm your Huckleberry.
Hey.
So let's do some plugs for the store,
Yeah,
right? So Real Deal Bait and Tackle,
Yep.
right, in Oakland Park, Florida.
Fort Lauderdale. So
Fort
I'm actually
Lauderdale.
Fort Lauderdale.
It
Yeah.
is. It's off Oakland Park.
So it's off commercial.
It's all
But-
commercial.
Yeah, but the way the map
Oh, I knew
zigs,
that. I knew that. Yeah.
The way the map zigs, we're actually we're considered Fort Lauderdale, which
Nice.
is weird because like right here on Cypress and 31st is also Fort Lauderdale, which is like strange.
Yeah, it's weird how some things. And Tamarack goes out like so
Yeah.
far. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, one side's Tamarack, one side's Fort Lauderdale. I'm like, how do you do that? Those two together?
All right, so don't go down Oakland. Go down commercial.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep. And
So-
we're 2 miles east of 95 on the south side, commercial on 18th. We're a half mile west of Federal, and there's an Aldi on the other side of the street. And yeah, it's
And what's the social media there?
at Real Deal Bait and Tackle, fully spelled out for both Facebook and Instagram. We're definitely way more active on Instagram, but everything we kind of do on Instagram goes to Facebook automatically, but we answer both. And our website's is www.realdealbaitandtackle.com. Don't use it yet, please. We're not like fully ready, but you guys can go check it out. It's got some pretty cool design to it. And yeah.
That's it. And you're gonna get the custom concierge service when it comes to you. So.
We may be moving here soon, though.
Really?
Yeah, we're working on it.
You allowed to talk about that yet?
I don't want to jinx it, is more so than talk about it. So
I'm not gonna.
Yeah, we're in the final negotiations on a new space. So
Nice.
right next to where we are, though, still staying close, but on Federal, east of Federal, on Federal.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, so it changes the whole game when you're obviously east of Federal. So
Yeah, nice.
Yep.
Yeah, very, very cool.
nice little street called Bayview.
Yep, that's right over there. That's right where I went to high school.
Yep.
That's right near Gibbons.
Yep.
Very cool.
That's commercial and Bayview, but yeah, very close by.
Yeah. So you're not gonna. All right. Yeah.
It's Federal and Bayview.
Federal
if I
and Bayview.
get it, I don't want to jinx myself, but we'll see. We're looking. No matter what, we're going to find a bigger space. So that's our next move.
Nice.
Yep. So, but right now you would think that there's like all these spaces available with Corona. But there's not.
Yeah.
Like the only ones you're finding are like 30,000 square feet, which I would love it, but
Business is
Warehouse.
good. Business is good. The economy is good. Listen, I know people are a little scared about the whole coronavirus rising cases thing. You know, listen, take it with a grain of salt.
work harder.
Live your life. Work hard. Be true to your family. Be true to your friends. Listen, don't go crazy. All right.
Yep.
You know, a lot of people are going insane right now. They're getting cabin fever and they're having some problems like that. Take a deep breath. Relax.
Go outside, go fishing.
Yeah, exactly. Go outside, go fishing, get some fresh air.
Fresh
All
air
right?
heals all.
Yeah, this is not the end of the world, contrary to what CNN would make you believe.
Yeah, it's you know a lot of people that got it.
No, I know a couple,
See, I know a lot.
but
I know a lot, and
Yeah.
every single one's fine. The only one that's not is early on, which I don't believe this was the cause, but my primary care doctor was the first doctor in the country to die from it. But I still don't believe that was why he died.
right.
So I don't believe why any of the numbers. But yeah, but I know at this point I know a lot of people that have had
Yeah,
it.
I don't know a ton. I know a few. I mean, but
Nah, probably
you
up to
know.
like 75 people I know at least.
Really?
At least.
Wow.
Yeah, I've been exposed to it as we had to
Yeah.
reschedule this.
Yeah.
I got lucky on that one. You know, I was around somebody for 8 hours that had it.
Mm-hmm.
Next day they got sick, but luckily I tested good.
Yeah.
And but yeah, no, I mean,
See, me personally, I've been like, I'm just like low key in general.
so that's me too.
But for the most part, I'm bouncing between my house, which is 10 minutes away, and the studio. My house. And
People
the
don't
studio.
understand
my
that's
house
what I
and my
do too.
studio, and it's like it's not like a lot of things are really like open. You know what I mean? So I'm not like going like around.
Yeah, I just don't feel like my son's like, can we go to the movies? I'm like,
Yeah. No, the way I look at it is just listen, just don't do anything stupid.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're going to my parents and here in my studio, and that's pretty much the three places that we're going.
The big age group of people I'm seeing it with is this, 17 to 24-year-old kids that are partying there. They're getting it hardcore, but it doesn't affect them. So
Right.
they don't even know it in most cases.
Yeah.
So yeah, it will pass soon.
It'll pass.
What day is the election?
Yeah. Right. Second it's over.
Second it's over, we got a vaccine. Oh, you don't even need a vaccine. It's going to go away. The season's over.
Yeah, we're not gonna hear from BLM for another 4 years.
I don't even want to go down that road. So
Anyway, sorry, did I just say that? I did. It kind of slipped out. Bleep. No, we don't have to beat
we use
that. Let it
BLM
roll,
in
baby.
our store a lot.
What's that?
We use BLM in our store a lot.
Do you?
Yeah, Bait Lives Matter.
There you go.
So that's about it.
Blackfin lives matter.
Yeah.
Not really, but
Kill them all. It's another one they just put the regs on. I know Art was unhappy about that one. So
yeah. Was it 4?
2 per person, max 10 per boat.
Max 10. Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's right. 2, not 4.
see, the only one I think they need a reg on is mahi at this point. We get them for like 3 weeks, 4 weeks, and they're all peanuts, and they're just gone.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's just patterns that aren't bringing them here like they used to, or if there's just.
I think it could be sharks. Could be a factor too. You don't think so?
Not on mahi.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've seen some getting shark.
Yeah, recently I've seen a lot more of it.
Yeah.
I think the biggest impact on the mahi fishery is the Chinese long-range boats.
See, I brought that up with Art, and he said that that's the debatable, because I thought that too. I'm like, well, it's got to be harvesting out.
They wreck
off the-
fisheries.
Yeah.
They
but,
are like They
But
just
he says he
demolish
hasn't
it.
been seeing enough of the commercial vessels out there to substantiate it. But I'm like, I don't know.
My problem,
man.
our thing is they're not here.
Yeah.
So
They're not here.
They'll be on the other side of the Bahamas.
That's what I'm saying.
Or
Right.
they'll be
Yeah.
down in Panama, and then that school. These fish are highly migratory.
Right.
Yeah.
So they recorded a mahi recently that started in Boynton Beach, and I think it was 40 days later was in Maryland.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's like insane
Right.
how fast they can move. And so like they're catching them during their migration patterns. And we're seeing a lot of migration patterns change. So it's just like the sharks adapting to the boats. They come to your boat now.
Mm-hmm.
Are these fish getting smarter? And the fish are dumb. But are they learning to adapt
mahi,
to our
they're-
fishing
yeah.
patterns, though? Like
Right.
if they know that, I don't know, like why this year did the glass minnow run start a month and a half early?
Mm-hmm.
And it made for the best summer fishing ever.
Mm-hmm.
Why are there mullet pods in Sebastian already when it's an October thing? So you're seeing a lot of the pattern shift, and I think that's just evolution of the earth. Like
Mm-hmm.
things don't happen the same exact time every single year, but this year's
The
been
cycles,
very
yeah, the cycle
early
would be off.
on those things. I mean, speaking about early, you got storms in July.
Yeah.
It seems like everything's coming early this year.
Yeah. And last year was
Because they
kind of
flipped
a
the
lot of things
switch.
were late.
It's the Democrats. They had to start everything early.
It really is them.
They control the.
It really isn't. They got like the hurricane machine.
Yeah,
It's
something like
in
that.
Africa. They
There's
just start
somebody
going
out there doing
I feel
it.
like Nancy Pelosi's like,
That's awesome.
Chuck Schumer. Like,
Oh gosh,
harder, faster.
it's so
We need
bad.
a 5 out of this one.
So have you always been a Republican?
I can't say that I've always been political.
See, I've always been political, but I felt early on in life I was a Democrat.
I think a lot of young people make that mistake.
And then what happened? Yeah, no, it's 100%. What happened but even early on, I would take people don't realize this, but you can go online and take these political tests, like a 200 questionnaire. They're quick. They're take you about 30 minutes. And it's like you're playing solitaire. So don't cheat. You're playing against yourself.
Right.
And it'll tell you really what you truly are. And I always come in 54% Democrat, 46% Republican. So I was the pure example of right down the middle.
Mm-hmm.
That was when I was 25. Now it's 84% Republican.
Yeah.
There's a couple things, obviously. I'm a human and I'm nice, or try to be nice. I care about people's lives that I'll match with the left on.
Right.
Not like the extreme left, but just the left.
Sure.
But I think as you get older, so I think you're 16 to 25, you're heavily Democrat,
Right.
Because it's a very utopian idea.
Correct.
That's why.
Then at 25, you
It's
start
not,
going.
a lot of their
I
ideas
gotta
are not
live.
realistic.
Yeah,
a lot
I
of
gotta
their
live.
stuff is not realistic.
And you start moving the scale. And I used to have this guy I work with. He's like, yeah, you'll be a Republican. I'm like, nah, I'll never will. And now I look back, I'm like, damn, that dude was right. As you start caring about your finances, your children,
you start
your
becoming a
future,
responsible adult, and so,
realize, you don't want to pay. I don't mind helping. Yeah, I don't want
Right.
to pay for everybody else's crap. I'm struggling. People don't see it. How much did you struggle in the beginning?
Mm-hmm.
You don't show it because you're the type of guy. I'm the same way. Even through all my struggles the last 2 years, personally, financially, nobody saw it on my face. I'm gonna.
Because you're an accountable, responsible.
I did it.
person,
It was
yeah.
a choice I made.
Right.
So even through all that, no, I don't want to. I don't take anything for
I grew
granted.
up in a very conservative house, right? But I mean, even then, when you're younger, you do open your mind to different things, and then it's cooler to be a Democrat because whatever the styles and the music and whatever, it's yeah, we all want to fight for something. And it's this cool niche to fall into.
We should make a new rule.
What's that?
Can't get a voter's registration unless you live on your own.
Yeah.
And then all those young kids that vote left won't vote again.
You know what? All right. So I have. You know what I think the number one thing this country needs to do right now, which I think is a big deal, is term limits.
Oh my gosh.
I think that is. In fact, I wrote notes on my phone. You want me to read them out?
Yeah.
Oh my God, should I do that?
Yeah.
I have outlined on my. This is the things I do when I'm just not doing business.
So you did these on the shitter.
We were about to. We were
Oh my
about to-
gosh.
I think
Nancy
I did
Pelosi.
this. I think fucking Pelosi. I think no, I think I did this on a Saturday morning. I was just drinking my coffee before the TV went on and everything like that, and I was just thinking about all this bullshit. Because you think, man, what's the problem with the world right now? Like, what really is the fix? Because listen, although I do think Black Lives Matter, of course I do.
I think all lives matter.
All lives matter, right?
I don't see color.
But I don't think you need to point out one race like that. Listen, just be respectful.
My shop
don't be an
manager is
asshole.
black.
Right?
I don't see him as
prime
black.
example.
He's just my shop manager.
There was a situation a few years back. I don't know if you're a big baseball fan at all, but you know who Jeff Kent is?
Hold on a second. This will answer.
Oh, that's right. You're a Yankee fan. Right.
This will answer how much of a baseball fan I am.
So you know Jeff Kent.
Yeah,
so you know Jeff
course,
Kent.
yep.
You remember the whole Jeff Kent, Milton Bradley thing, right? So Milton Bradley's trying to blame Jeff Kent for being racist in the dugout, right? But this is when they were in L.A. They were playing for the Dodgers, and Craig Biggio played Jeff Kent for years.
Yep.
And he goes, "Listen, I know Jeff Kent. He's an asshole. He's not a racist.
Yeah, there's a big difference.
He hates everybody.
Yeah.
You know, and it wasn't just Milton Bradley. But if you want to look at it like, oh, he hates me, you're going to see your own skin color because he hates me because I'm black. You're
the
making
problem
a
in
mistake.
today's world is like no matter how you say it, somebody's going to take offense to it.
I don't give a shit anymore.
I'm
I really
over
don't.
it.
Listen, I am who I am, and I know I'm not racist, so don't tell me I am.
Yep.
Listen, all right, so this is all right. Not only just like term limits for like any elected seat. Now, I might be wrong in some of my factual things here. This is just what I pumped off, right? When I was like, this is what I think is going to really like be not fix America, but is a good start, right? My list of demands for any American elected seat. Any elected seat. It goes into mayor right down the street too, all the way up to senator.
You know him?
I do know him.
Scott's my attorney.
Is he really?
He was my child custody attorney.
I'm mad at Scott Brook.
Yeah, he's a nice guy.
He agreed to come on the show twice, and he canceled twice.
What?
Yeah.
I talked to Scott this morning at like 5:30 in the morning.
Did you really?
Just because I was asking.
Tell him to come on the show.
I'll talk to him.
I know he's a Democrat, but whatever. I don't
Yeah,
care.
he's a hardcore Democrat.
I don't care.
He's a good attorney, though.
I wanted to talk to him about what's the city's responsibility. We're right next door to the Everglades.
Yeah.
No one ever talks about it in Coral Springs.
No,
So I wanted to ask him, I'm like, does the city have any responsibility to the Everglades whatsoever?
none.
You know what I mean? Like, what are we doing with our waterways that run into the Everglades, run in and out of the Everglades?
Spraying them nonstop to get rid of a couple weeds that are in there.
They are. I see the John boats all the time.
Pretty. My friend's the one that actually does that.
That's probably why you didn't want to come on the show. You didn't want me to call him out.
Who?
Scott.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, like I said, Scott's a nice guy, but yeah, no, the city of Coral Springs cares more about the look than the environment. They've always been that way.
Yeah.
Across the street, the McDonald's has no arch. The only McDonald's in the world that doesn't have one.
Well, they had a policy. Now they changed that.
Oh, really?
That you weren't any of these shopping centers or any store, you were not allowed to have a sign on the roadway.
Yeah.
Now they adjusted it. If you're a shopping center, they allow you to have it now. Yeah, it's really weird.
See, I'm in the forgotten part of Fort Lauderdale, so I put one of those like A-frame road signs out that you're not allowed to have. Like anything, I do it until I get
slap on the wrist.
Are you ready for my term limits?
Yeah.
All right, my list of demands for any American elected seat. Term limits. Maximum of 2 terms. No one term lasting more than 4 years. Right? Effective immediately, meaning those who have already served 2 or more terms will not be eligible for any further re-elections. Furthermore, if you served 1 term and did not get reelected, then you permanently forego your second term eligibility.
Yeah, I like that.
If you weren't good enough the first time around, then you can't run again.
Yeah.
Right? During service of any given term, you shall pay into Social Security. During the service of any term, you will independently pay your own health care and that of your family. Because right now...
So that one, I'm like... You go get a decent job, they're going to pay your health care. So
maybe not. I don't know.
Yeah,
but I'm saying, unless that becomes like a mandate that, during service of any given term, you shall not be eligible for additional income other than your set wage of your elected position. And I'll explain this. This includes any stock market investments or fund contributions. Any current investments you will have will be frozen during your term and will not be eligible to gain interest. No other job may be held.
No, so is this just Senate, Congress, high powers? Like,
that's where I struggle with it because I understand on the local level, local level, you probably
make like $20,000 to be the mayor of Coral Springs.
Right. Yeah, it's not a lot of money.
Most of these guys are attorneys.
So that's a flexible thing, but I think that should be more the high level thing.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing, like, what's up with all these senators and congressmen? They go in, they're only worth like $50,000 net worth, and they come back billion and million. Yeah, it's because they know what's going on before anyone knows it. The lobbyists, they're able to make investments on things. They understand how the landscapes are going to change for everything, and they know what sectors to invest in before anyone else does, and all this stuff, whatever. Anyway, that's why I think that. Right.
It's
This is just like a random
I agree
spew,
with
right?
most of this.
All right, here's one. All donated election campaign funds shall be capped based upon the level of office you're running for. This is an equal rule for both new candidates and incumbents. No incumbent may use government or taxpayer funds for re-election campaigns, which they are allowed now.
But here's the thing. This is what I think a lot of people don't think about is where does the money come from, right? Like, you go donate $10 to Trump every time you see that on Facebook?
No.
And I like him, but like I'm not giving the guy don't need my $10, you know? It
Right.
comes from corporations, all of it. It's all
know.
from lobbyists.
I know.
And
That's what I'm saying.
nobody gives that much money away for just because they like somebody.
That's my point.
There's something.
I think elections should be a very canned scenario. I don't think it should be an independent, because the most expensive guy wins.
Who makes the
right?
most money in an election?
Who makes the most? Probably the guy running for office. I don't know who makes the most.
TV companies,
Yeah, well, they do.
radio, where all that ad money goes. I mean,
But also, there's an imbalance because incumbents, they're allowed to use taxpayer funds for their, but people running aren't. So they got to independently raise their own money. You know, so it's it's an unfair part. That's why you don't see a lot of turnover.
yeah.
So all personal campaign donations must be made public record and must be filled into a database for reasons of transparency. Corporations, charities, associations, organizations, or businesses of any kind will no longer be eligible to donate to an election campaign.
It's key.
All right. There shall be no pensions given to those who have been elected official of any seat. Any pensions currently active shall cease. Once your public service term has ended, your pride that you served your nation truthfully and honorably will be your lifelong reward.
That's the one that I was waiting to see if you had on the list.
That's
They
my
got these guys
for
that will go
elected
in
seats.
at age 32. They'll be in Congress or in the Senate for 8 years. They get paid for the rest of their life.
Right.
I know I don't go work a job for 8 years and get paid for the rest of my life.
Nope.
City employees, 30 years, 33 years. Firefighters, 25. Cops, 25, 30. But you go do that job for 8 years and make $250,000 a year for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
So I think maybe not everything I said is
Yeah, but
to the T crop, but I think that's the general
part of it.
aspect of it.
And I think that I know everybody on the right would agree with it, and I think a portion of the left would too.
Well, that's what I think. I think if you put the stat out there, I wouldn't be
So
surprised
one
if
that
it
you
were around
missed-
80%.
One that you missed,
Would
which is
agree.
a tough one, is age. Age is one that, you can't discriminate by age, color, race, this, that. But age is one that just throws me off. Some of these guys are
I mean,
just
you're
ancient.
you're done.
Yeah, they're just ancient.
Well, if you look at obviously I don't like Pelosi or Schumer, right? But they've been in government for so long. It's
50
hell or high
years.
water, you're going to make
Yeah.
me lose my job. You know what I mean? And the system is structured as such to allow them to stay there. So,
I don't know. I think
but I agree with you.
what's your your earners for society are 28 to 55. That's your earning years in life.
Mm-hmm.
If you haven't made it by those years, you don't have a good chance after.
Right.
You got to worry about that before. But I don't need, personally, I don't need 84-year-olds telling me what to do with my. No offense to them, they've given their enough to their life. They've given enough to the world already. I just, I don't know why we allow somebody of that age to tell an 18-year-old what he has to do, or a 25-year-old, or a 30-year-old, or a 40-year-old.
I don't disagree. I don't disagree. And also, what makes the Senate or whatever so much more important than the president? The president can only be in office for 8 years, but the Senate it's unlimited.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
She got basically Nancy Pelosi's she's basically akin to what would you call that? Like a queen of a country.
Yep.
You know what I mean? She's I don't know, hesitate to say dictator.
Don't get me wrong, even as bad as she is, there's things that she's done in her career that were good.
No, but
at
that's
this
not
point,
the
she's
point.
just
Whether
fallen
good or
off.
bad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's people on the right that have been in there too long as well.
Oh, 100% both sides.
Yeah.
I just wish there was more youth.
Yeah.
A lot more youth in it.
Yeah. No,
So-
I do too.
Just to bring a different perspective every day.
Mhm.
And look, when was the last time, did you ever meet Nancy?
Nancy Pelosi?
Yeah.
No.
Did you ever meet Trump?
No.
Did you ever meet Schumer?
No.
I never met any of them. You ever meet any of them? They are so far.
I've been to Mar-a-Lago.
Yeah. But they're so far disconnected from reality, the everyday life.
No doubt about it.
Trump's close. He knows he understands a lot of it. He's disconnected in certain ways.
Mm-hmm.
But in general, everybody in the government is disconnected from the average Joe. And what the average Joe sees, does, and how they do it every single day.
It's an elitist society.
It's 100% elitist.
It's an elitist, and this is why I'm saying all those term limit things, those requirements for Senate, I think will help quell that.
Yeah.
Will help quell, bringing in people that want to be there for the right reasons won't have a problem with those rules.
I just think government in general is too big.
It is too big.
It's like,
what I'm saying.
When you start thinking about
because there's not enough turnover.
Yeah. When you
have too much power.
Yeah. When you start thinking that, something can happen and they could just insert $4 trillion at the flick.
Mm-hmm.
And you go, wait, hold on a second. How did you have $4 trillion?
Right.
And then it's endless.
Mm-hmm.
There's no cap. It just keeps going. And when you start looking at the balance sheet and you look at how much property they own, how many employees there are, that's why we have no manufacturing. Go work for the government. You get free health insurance, you get everything else, and you got a job for life. You got to kill somebody or say a racist comment to get fired.
Mm-hmm.
You're never getting fired from, a city job unless you do something really wrong.
Yeah.
So it's all government at this point. I wonder what percentage of the country works.
I don't know. We'll find it out.
For if you mix the local, city, state, federal.
Right. All of it.
You mix all of it together.
People that work down at the courthouse.
Everything.
Yeah.
What percentage is it?
It's high.
It's crazy.
That's why when they say, government shutdown and you only need non-essential employees, everyone freaks out. You're like, because a lot of people are going to be home.
I don't get it. It's way too big. But it goes back to the same thing with manufacturing earlier.
Well,
it's going to take as long as it took to build it that way.
Yeah.
It would take that long to change it.
Yeah.
And
the bigger the government, the more socialistic of a society we're living. So,
yep.
I don't know.
Yeah, there's many different ways to look at it, though. So that's why I try to take a different approach and look at it through other people's eyes, too, and understand how and why they think that way. I didn't understand that until I was 18. I started traveling out of the country. So I went to Germany. I went to Amsterdam for some reason. And then and then I did a lot of travel. Yeah. Not the red lights, the other places. Then I went to, Mexico, Argentina, San Salvador, Alter Canada, Alter Asia, went back to Italy, Greece, England. Everywhere you go, no offense to America, I am as American as they get.
Mm-hmm.
They don't care about us out there. They care about their country, like we care about ours. And, we say there's no propaganda here in America. It's a free, open media society. Bullshit. We have just as much propaganda. It's just done in a different way. Mm-hmm. And, it wasn't until I really got around the globe that I noticed, America is the most badass country there is, but there's some other really badass countries, and they all do it their way, and it's a little different. And now I understand to look at it through a different perspective in certain ways, Mm-hmm. I was in Germany when we just started the Iraq war, and I opened up a taxi, and I was like, "Can you take me?" And I just started speaking English, and they just drove away. I was like, "Oh, okay. I guess they don't really like Americans here." That's how bad it was at the time.
Wow.
The next day, Bush was on the cover of the newspaper with a Hitler mustache. Everywhere you go, it's a different perspective.
Right.
And, our propaganda is America is the greatest, the best at everything that you could do. We're awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome country. I love it. I love being free. But there's other places that do things really good and a lot of places that do things better than us. And everywhere you go, it's a little different, and we forget about that sometimes. That's the main thing.
Yeah.
But there's many aspects of America that were really, excuse my French, fucked up. Bad.
Mm-hmm.
And government is one of them.
A lot of overreach.
Yeah. I love guns. I think everybody should own one, but Germany had 4 gun deaths last year.
Mm-hmm.
France had 3. Why is there none elsewhere? And we have how many people died of guns last year here?
Mm-hmm.
Thousands upon thousands upon thousands when you really look into it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's everywhere you go, it's a little different. It's weird.
Yeah, the gun debate is that's a tough one. There's I don't know if you want to even get into that.
No, because I'm a gun owner. You go in my store, there's guns everywhere. Like,
yeah, I mean,
there's
obviously
one
we're
on the
in
counter
full
at all times. We don't even hide it.
Yeah, we're in full support of the right to bear arms.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are. I mean, there's other issues that in this country that we have that don't mix well with guns.
No.
And
Substance abuse.
yeah,
Mental health.
depression, substance abuse.
I think mental health is actually our biggest issue.
Yeah.
I think that is our biggest issue.
I
No
agree.
doubt about it.
Yeah, and the reason being was, so in the 60s, if you were crazy, where'd they send you? To the loony bin.
Mm-hmm.
Well, now it's not politically correct to call it a loony bin or to even have one.
Right.
They're gone. They're all closed down.
The nut hut.
Yeah, it's gone because it's not correct.
Mm-hmm.
'Cause we're all human. No, you're fucking crazy, and you need to be treated.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't treat. We don't rehabilitate. We don't treat. All we do is either throw you in prison or throw you on the street.
So we're getting to the real problem in this country, which
Mental
is
health.
lawyers.
Scott Brook. Not checking.
No, not
Love you,
Scott.
Scott. Love you, Scott. No.
Listen,
It's
the
well
law
more
gets
than-
manipulated and changed and all these things, and then we have the effect.
But the lawyers aren't the ones making the laws. It's those damn people in Congress and Senate. And,
they're all lawyers,
yeah, well, that's true. That is true. The lobbyists are the problem.
except for the Republicans are all former business owners.
Yeah.
All the
Or
Democrats are lawyers.
Yeah, no, it's mental health's a big issue. It affects everybody, even if you're sane. Everybody fights their own demons in their head.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Yeah.
I don't care who you are. I fight it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
You could be the happiest person in the world, and you're still fighting that demon. So,
Sure. The difference is whether or not you're able to push it down or not.
yeah.
Some people are not.
But the problem is, like, we can go on for 10 hours and find a new subject every 4 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
That's an issue.
Oh, I thought we were done with this podcast like an hour ago.
Yeah. I think my store's burned down like 3 times. No.
It's all right. That's good, man. That's
like,
a
for
good
me,
thing when
it's
that
like-
happens.
For me, it's like, so my family was, my mom was a single mom of 4. Like, we weren't broke, but like, she wasn't wealthy. We're single mom of 4. It's not easy. And then I chose the wrong path early on, like really the wrong path. I got into drugs, got into trying to make money through drugs, all the wrong things you do. Dropped out of high school, no college, like.
So you're a freelance pharmaceutical representative?
Yeah. And normally you mix all those things together, and it's not a good recipe for life.
Mm-hmm.
And I tell all the kids that come in my store all the time, especially all the little shitheads, I'm like, look, man, I'm part of the 1%. They're like, oh, you're rich. I'm like, no.
I made it out.
I'm like, I'm the 1% that shouldn't be here right now that made something of their life. And I said, it's a lot easier for you not to go down that road. I got lucky. I got this $10 an hour job when I was 18 that turned into a career. And it took a lot of things to get there, but it's not the path, But like, so for me, some issues I have are our justice system in a different way than what everybody's out there doing. Like, you're 18 years old. How many 18-year-olds smoke pot? Like today's world, 70% I think is the number.
Mm-hmm.
And pot's inexpensive. You can go buy an ounce of some crappy pot for $50. And then you go driving down the street, and you went through that stop sign a little fast, and now you're a felon.
Mm-hmm.
You're 18, trying to get a buzz. Not going to kill anybody. Worst thing that ever happened for somebody smoking to do is getting the munchies, But that 18-year-old is now a felon for the rest of his life. Now, granted, there's some that can get, a program or something to get them off it, but there's a lot that don't.
Mm-hmm.
And now go try to get a job being a felon, a good job. You're not getting it. So, like, that's a huge problem, in my opinion.
No, I agree with you. I'm
Yeah.
100% agreement.
Non-violent crimes.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care. I don't care how you were raised, where you came from. If you were raised in Star Island or if you were raised in the hood, Pompano. No, just joking.
Pompton.
Shout out.
Yeah, no. You're a shithead from like age 18 to 25. And the idiots are shitheads after.
Right.
But like, you're going to do stupid stuff. And it goes back to no rehabilitations. Like, we just automatically deem you a criminal or deem you a bad person. And we, at that early stage of your life, ruin your life.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when the whole downward spiral starts. So we have the ability to change that person early on.
Right.
Like, I'm big on scare tactics. Like, that's why I smashed my son's controller. Like, do that shit again, and I'm gonna break the other one. But sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But we have the ability right there to rehabilitate people
Yeah.
in different ways, But like just throwing them in jail or just making them a felon is like not the way.
Mm-hmm.
But
I think another big issue with our country too is you're involved with your son, like you're his dad.
Oh, yeah.
And he knows that.
yeah,
right?
I fought hard.
But there are
spent a lot of money. Scott, that new pool you got, yep.
There are a lot of kids in this country, especially in the minority areas, that they don't have a father. I think the number is like some of the demographics, it's up to 70%.
Yeah, no,
Where there's no father, the fatherless homes, and no father in their lives.
I had no father.
That's a big problem.
From a different reason. My dad passed when I was young from cancer, but that helped send me down the wrong path.
Yeah.
Not having that figure there, to stop it. By the time I'm the baby of 4.
Mm-hmm.
So by the time my mom got to me, I was like, shit, there was no chance,
Yeah.
She was what do I do at this point?
Burnt out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
that's why I said to my wife, I said, listen, don't take this the wrong way, but what would you do if I wasn't here? She goes, man, we got the 2 kids. She goes, that'd be very hard. I go, okay. Now, imagine 7 out of every 10 houses in this neighborhood was dealing with the same thing. That same situation. That would change the entire fabric of this neighborhood.
Yep.
She's like, hey, you're right.
Yeah, it's I don't think marriage as we know it exists. I don't think love as we knew it back in the day. All that's it's just a different society, and we need to figure out how to change to adapt to that.
Mm-hmm.
It's Adam asks me all the time, Dad, can we have dinner, like me, you, and Mommy? And I'm like, yeah, sure.
Mm-hmm.
What do you mean? Like we could do it? I said, yeah, why not? Now lucky I'm at that point now with her that we're able to do those things. Good. Yeah. And don't get me wrong, there's 4 or 5 days a year where it's like War of the Roses still.
Mm-hmm.
Her fiance is like, hey, dude, like chill out. I'm like, hey, dude, don't get him Italian. Like,
yeah.
Hold on, dude, like back up, But
But you're being a responsible, involved father about it.
It's all about that. I learned early on from Scott and early on in like my court case, because obviously when we first split, Adam was 5 months old. We hated each other.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, not that we love each other now, you know what I mean? But like I learned early on, like it's not about me, it's not about her, it's about the kid.
Right.
And like people forget that it's not, if you're gonna make the decision to be a parent, that's your first.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of scumbag dads that people talk about. Oh, there's a lot of scumbag moms.
Mm-hmm.
Drug addicts, this, that. Moms that run off. There's a lot of dads that are raising kids on their own. And parenting is not easy. Whether it's 1, 2, 3, 4, however many kids you have,
it's not easy at all.
No, man.
You hear that, John?
Yeah.
Right? I know.
So Adam's in my store all the
He's
time.
about to venture off into the world here, maybe.
Oh, you got one on the way?
No, but it'll be coming soon.
Yeah, don't do it. Yeah, so like all the time Adam's in the store and like he'll say like a smart ass comment or something like that, and I'll just like look at whoever's in the store at the time. And I'm like, that's why you wear condoms. Mm-hmm. Like, it's right there. Like there you go. So like I love my kid, 100%. Never do anything to change that. But yeah, they're a lot of work.
Did you see the meme going around about Patrick Mahomes' girlfriend?
Mm-mm.
After he said he was Patrick Mahomes' girlfriend after he signed the contract, and she's like,
putting
a pin in the condom.
I'd have his kid right now.
Yeah.
God, what was it? $503 million.
That's a lot of money.
Yep.
But you know what? If that's going to be the number, at the very least, I think he deserves to be the highest paid athlete in all sports.
I don't. So people get mad when they see these numbers that these sports athletes are getting paid. And they always forget the first thing about sports. You know what the first thing about sports is?
What, about ownership making all the money?
No, it's a business.
Oh, yeah, it's business.
It's a bit. If you have an employee that's going to make you money, you're paying them.
Right.
And unfortunately, these are numbers that are crazy to most, but the business is crazy.
Right.
So when the Yankees traded for A-Rod, and then they re-signed him. At that time, it was a 10-year, $325 million contract. It's like absurd, And people are like, oh my gosh, how can you give this much money? Before that, like the biggest contract was $200 million. And even that was absurd. Mm-hmm. And then there's a statistic that came out that broke down his contract and everything that comes with it for the team. So what they'll make back off of having him on that team and how they calculate what he's worth to offer him the contract. And over that time period, he would have made the franchise $485 million. So you're not give them $325, you make a quick $160, and it's a smart business decision.
Right.
But without him, you make zero or less based on a different player. And Mahomes is the face. They're going to bank on.
He's the face of the league right now.
They're going to bank on that $500 million.
As Tom Brady is
gone, he's in.
Is, riding off into the sunset.
You're mad about that, aren't you?
Gloriously.
Yeah.
I'm furious about that. I really wanted them to stay and get younger, actually.
Yeah. So I'm even though I'm a Bills fan, so obviously I don't like the Patriots, but I'm a realist sports fan. He's the GOAT.
Yeah. It's undeniable. But,
yeah, so I don't mind that.
I do. I had Romberg on the show, and we were talking about it. And I said, yes, he is. I mean, he's done everything to prove that. And I argued that I said, yes, you put like a lot of other quarterbacks in the league in that same position that they would be just successful. And he told me to basically to go fly tight.
Yep.
So I said, all right, well, I'll take that from you being that, you got your own radio show and you're played in the NFL.
Yeah,
and
he used to play.
I can take that, but I don't know. I don't like Tom Brady.
Yeah, I mean, from on the field perspective, I hate the guy, but
Yeah.
he's the best there ever played.
Yeah.
Crazy, especially to do what he did it last year, the year before. I mean, the guy's 40. I'm 40. I feel like I'm 90. So,
Which is crazy because the guy can't even run.
yeah.
But
But he doesn't get sacked.
Does he even run?
Yeah. Yeah, but you ever see him throw a ball into a window the size of the ball between two guys 30 yards down the field? Doesn't miss. Ever.
Anyway.
He torched your Dolphins a lot.
The Real Deal Bait and Tackle is located on Commercial Boulevard.
So I went to, with business travel, obviously I've been to every city in this country, like I said, many countries. So I'd always like plan my trips around like a sporting event that was happening. Cause I'm like, shit, if I got to go to Boston, I might as well go see a Red Sox game, So it was opening night, Monday night, the week one football, Bills were playing Patriots in Foxborough. I'm like, holy shit, I need to go up to see BJ's. That's where they're based out of. I'm planning my meeting for Monday at 5 o'clock. This way I have to stay till Tuesday, and I can go to the game. So I went. Bills come out to like a roaring lead, winning like 28-3 going into the fourth quarter. And then it was like the meltdown and Super Brady comeback. Like,
Yeah.
and I'm sitting there like I was that crazy loud fan. Like I'm the Bills fan in the middle. Everybody wanted to fight me. And then I'm just like this the whole rest of the time. Like,
Can't
it's like
give
one,
that man
it's
any
like
time.
one. It's like one touchdown. Okay, they're
Yeah.
28-10. Then another one, you're like, okay, it's 28-17, but we're halfway through. It's like, oh shit, it's 28-24. And then like 16 seconds left in the game, throws a touchdown, wins the game, 31-28. I'm like, did this really just happen?
Yeah.
Like it was at that moment that I was like, holy shit, this guy's the best.
All right. So we're going to move on.
Oh, so I bought a Tom Brady
Yeah, no.
signed poster last week
No.
at Jamie's
Listen,
tournament.
here, this
I'm
is
giving
what-
that to you.
Listen, I'm gonna put my Mark Duper and Mark Clayton guys right in front of me. Right? The Marx brothers.
Think about how many passes they would have caught if Brady was the quarterback. That's joking.
Really? They caught a lot of passes. They did pretty good. Anyway.
They had a mediocre quarterback though.
All right, I'm gonna put them right up here, so everyone. Don't. You are not allowed to bad talk Dan Marino. All right, there's Duper and Clayton. So, hi, Mark. Say hi, Mark.
That's great.
Okay. All right. We're gonna shut it down with Duper and Clayton, right? And we're gonna say do all your bait and tackle shopping at Real Deal, the innovators in all of South Florida in this industry.
Nah, there's a lot of them. We're just trying to be a part of it.
Yeah, you're doing a good job, though.
Thank you.
So I want to thank you for coming into the studio.
No, I appreciate
I want
you
to see a
having
lot
us.
more of you in here.
Yeah, we'll come in anytime.
Right. And then, all right. And don't forget, buy all your vehicles at Joey Icardi.
Everyone.
Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram. Right. Every single one of them.
I got that new big
Especially those
screen in mine.
Ram
That's-
trucks.
dude,
Did you get the big screen?
yeah.
See, I didn't get the. See, that's how it
what
goes,
sold
right?
me on switching to Ram. I was like a GMC guy 3 times in a row.
well,
And I
I
saw
didn't
that
want to wait.
screen.
I didn't want to wait because I got the Rebel.
Yeah.
Right. And we only had the smaller screen, which is still big.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? On a lot. I'm like, I didn't want to wait. I'm like, I'll just take this one.
Yeah, no,
You know what I mean?
I shopped for that screen.
Yeah.
I was like, you need a truck with this, and then show me what you have that has this. And then luckily it was like
Yeah.
the perfect one.
Yeah. You got it
is
outside?
badass.
Yeah.
I want to take a look at it before you leave.
It's like filled with like garbage and dirt.
That's always mine.
It's
It's all good.
gross. It's,
The yeah, but the Ram truck. Listen, I got to be honest with you. I never drove a Ram truck before in my life, right?
Yeah.
I always like, oh, yeah, Tundras and
Yeah.
you know, whatever. Those thought those look cool. And I never really had any experience with Ram. I went over to Joey's and I sat in this Rebel and I test drove it.
They're badass.
I'm like, oh my God, where have you been all my life? Like, this truck is insane.
Yeah,
right?
this one that I got didn't have leather, and I'm like a leather guy because I'm a fisherman, and
Mm-hmm.
I don't like having a cloth for that reason.
Right.
He's like, don't worry, we'll just put leather in it for you. I'm like, I mean,
Yeah.
he just made it so easy.
Nice.
Yep.
Nice.
Like, it was maybe like a week after I got it, company came, they picked the truck up at my shop at 8 o'clock in the morning, and like 3 o'clock in the afternoon, they dropped back off, and I had leather seats. I was like, can't beat this.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So,
Very, very cool. The we're gonna give a little boost up to our friends at Papa's today. Right? So if you want
Wahoo bites.
the best Wahoo bites,
Oh my gosh.
you want the best seafood in town,
Ugh.
I swear to God, go see Papa's.
Miss
Papa's
Papa's.
Raw Bar, right? And they got the Papamigos going on right now. There's a food truck there in the old town in Pompano off the Dixie Tracks in Atlantic. Go check it out. Support them guys because they have been working hard throughout all this. Right? It's
Shrimp
very
fried
lot
rice.
tougher for a raw bar.
Yeah, shrimp fried
with the
rice.
regulations. The shrimp fried rice is insane.
Off
with
the
the
chain.
steak in it,
Oh,
right? Good stuff.
everything there is good. Have you ever tried anything there that wasn't good?
No, that's everything is. Troy's got it dialed in.
Yes,
Cassie,
there
they
was
got
a-
it dialed in.
There was this one time he had hogfish sliders.
Mm-hmm.
It's like,
Yep,
it's ridiculous.
it's phenomenal.
I've
And
never had a bad meal there.
did you know that the whole entire sushi menu is connected by water sushi menu?
Is it really?
Yeah, they named the whole sushi menu after
awesome.
us, right? And they got a takizi roll in there, which
Oh, hell yeah.
which is Harris's operation, and then we got the OCD
I,
and the Jumbalicious Wet Dream roll.
So I'd made a bet. When was this? 8 years ago with a friend on an election. And not to say who won or lost, but the bet was the loser had to buy the winner Papa's once a month for 4 years straight.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So we ate a lot of Papa's.
Wow.
It was great though, because like we're both have kids, and like you know, as you get older, you separate from your friends.
Yeah.
So it was cool because it got us together once a month. It cost me a lot of fucking money.
Yeah.
It was $100 once a month. Man. That was a $4,800 bet, and you
Yeah.
didn't even realize it.
So
So
Obama got elected?
what was that?
Did Obama got
Yeah.
elected?
Gosh,
Hope and
painful.
change.
Gosh.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was good. I thought it was a win-win though. Like I
Yeah.
couldn't lose.
All right.
Worst happens, I get Papa's.
Yeah, that's it. That's exactly it.
By the way, if you're gonna do bets, do them like that.
Well, I had the one bet I did with when the Heat were, the big three kind of thing with my buddy when they were playing the Bulls during the playoffs and everything like that. He's up in Chicago. We had a whole thing going on like that. So I had to send him Brew's Room
Don't you
up
miss
to
those days?
Chicago, and he had to send me down Lou Malnati's pizza from
I
Chicago.
love Lou Malnati's.
Yeah, so
Like, it's the best.
So I got some pizza
Yeah.
to that whole thing. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
They I missed those days for the Heat. It was fun.
Yeah, it was a
So I lived
time
in the
capsule right
building
there.
right across the street, Marina Blue.
Oh, really?
Is where I lived during those years.
Yeah.
And it was fun because you could just literally just feel the energy in the neighborhood during
Yeah.
nighttime. So
Yeah, that was such a time capsule.
I would
That-
get off of
those-
work and I'd look on like StubHub, like you could find that one random ticket cheap right before the game for like $15 to go to a Heat game. It was great.
You know, my beef with the whole scenario is like everyone complained about LeBron leaving Cleveland in the beginning, but he fulfilled his contract all 7 years.
Yeah.
And then he left after his contract was up. He didn't fulfill his entire contract for us.
No.
He signed a 7-year with a 4-out opt.
Yeah.
And he took his 4-out opt.
Well,
That's
nowadays,
the part I'm pissed about.
yeah, but nowadays I don't even know why they do the ops because they're never opting in.
Right.
Unless they're terrible, which doesn't happen. Don't even do them.
Yeah.
Now they're just signing 1-year deals over and over again, waiting for the new. They know when the new salary cap's going to go higher or
The
change it.
arbitration agreement. Yeah.
So,
Yeah. All right.
listen, I'm not mad at LeBron. Those were 4 fun years.
I can't be too mad. I'm not mad at any of them. I really don't care. Like you said, with the whole Trump and the level that they're on, it's the same. They only care about us. I can only be, whatever.
There was a LeBron documentary on ESPN maybe like 2 weeks ago that I watched.
Mm-hmm.
Made you like look at him a little different.
Yeah, whatever. Anyway.
LeBron and Tom Brady are his favorites.
Anyway. All right.
Who's
here
your
you go.
college team?
My column. I'm
He's a
Florida
Florida
State fan.
State fan.
All right, I gotta go. This was a
No,
fun.
no.
This
Hear
is
me
a
out,
fun
though.
pot. Oh, okay.
I'm actually a fan of both. I like the Hurricanes. I really do. I just don't like the Gators. Right. I just really don't. I know.
Yeah.
Listen. I know the rivalry with the whole wide left and the wide right and everything like that, but I got a lot of friends that are Cane
John, you're a
fans.
Florida
and
State fan too?
No, I'm a
he's a
Miami
Canes
fan.
fan.
Okay, good,
Hardcore Cane fan.
Hardcore here too.
That's good. It's all right. I still love you. All right, listen.
Florida State.
We're the what?
Buddy,
Your
thank
ego
you.
is not your amigo, right? Always
Thank
do
you,
your
thank
best and let God do the rest, right? Remember to buy all your vehicles at Joey Carty Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. Remember to eat all your finest meals at Papa's Raw Bar. Don't ever forget that no matter where we are, no matter what we're doing, right? We're always connected by water.
Yep.
All right, cool. Thanks, Mike.
Thanks. Peace.